Hey everyone, I'm Tess. These are the deadliest mistakes men over 50 can make with dating younger women. Okay, we're here to answer your questions. So say hi in the chat, everyone. If you're new or if you've been to these before, say hi and send your questions our way. We are here to help you. Okay, so the single worst mistake is making it about her beauty. It is complete madness. And that's what so many other coaches on YouTube are teaching you. You know, coming up and saying, "You're cute. I saw you from across the room," or "Just wanted to come tell you how beautiful you are." Do not do that. Okay. Not long after I graduated high school, two of my friends started dating guys in their 40s. This is when we were around close to 20. And when I started modeling, I found this to be a pretty consistent pattern with many of the more intelligent, emotionally mature girls that I worked with. Okay, so why is it so terrible when a guy makes it all about your beauty? Okay, it is so superficial, so superficial. You're basically just making her feel objectified immediately. And what it says about you is that you are shallow. You're a shallow guy, and that's how you value women. And it makes us feel like we're only wanted for sex. You're really failing to connect with a woman on a deeper level in an authentic way, which is how we feel respected and understood. So, you know, the thought of dating a guy who only values you for your appearance is just so off-putting and personally devaluing. You know, how embarrassing if this guy were to ever meet your friends, let alone your parents. So, you know, it would basically feel like you were just a walking vagina. Terrible, absolutely terrible. So yeah, please do not do this. This is a huge, huge mistake. What you really need to be doing is you need to be trying to get to know her beyond what's on the surface level and connecting with that and making her feel valued for that. So you really, ideally, you should be trying to elicit, how does this woman value herself? What are her unique skills, values, uh, yeah, and connect. Oh, what does she love? And connect with those things to make her feel seen. You know, for women who are beautiful and to get a lot of attention from guys, they're potentially told that they're beautiful every single day, and that means that that becomes completely devalued. And it almost becomes like an insult when people are just like, "Oh, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful," because what she really wants is for people to just, and for men to just see beyond that and see her for a real person. Hey, James.
Hey, how you doing? You're doing great. I can jump in whenever you want.
Thanks. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense to you guys, right? So for beautiful women who are told they're beautiful all the time, it's worthless. It's completely worthless, and it makes her feel objectified. So please, the first thing you say to her should not be about her beauty. If you want to compliment on her on that, it should be way down the track once you've already built connection around something deeper, something that's way more meaningful to her.
And after you've had a wee bit of the in and out and you've done a very good job, that's about the only time you bring up the beauty. There's one other time, but we get to that second. Seriously, a huge, enormous part of your job as a man who wants to date younger women is to convince her there's more to her than her legs, her boobs, her hip to waist ratio, her plump young skin. That's your job as a salesman, is to convince this young, presumably hot girl, whatever, 10, 15, 20 years younger than you, your number one task is to convince her there's more to you than, you know, whatever, the stuff that guys get excited about with porn. So I mean, you've got 10, 20 years more life experience than her. So obviously she feels hyper insecure with the guy, no matter how confident or rich or handsome you are. If she feels like an object, it's like, yeah, I think Tess did it really well. She's just a walking vagina. So it's almost like prostitution, the way so many guys try to pick up girls. Hey, look at my Ferrari or my German car, and I'll tell you about all this, and I'll spend all my money on you. And yeah, how about you give me sex? How's this for a trade? I mean, it's really yeah. I mean, it's I don't know how many steps down from prostitution it is. It's actually formalized in seeking arrangement in different apps now, where it's not called prostitution, but essentially is. So I, without going into too much details, I've only ever dated women in their 20s, and most of the sex of my life has been women in their early 20s. And yeah, and my secret is in most cases, these younger women were really impressive younger women intellectually and also in many other ways. So yeah, I've had multiple bi girlfriends for years on end where they were all, you know, clearly above average intelligence. So yeah, just try to convince them. So my secret, which I pinched off the great man Dale Carnegie, compliment her, flatter her on her IQ, her culture, her worldliness, her gracefulness. If you ever get to go on a date with Tess, this hot girl, catwalk model, paraglides. I mean, if I was trying to get my way with Tess, which I won't do in the post-Harvey Weinstein era, that could cost me a lot and I might lose my best employee. But if I was, I'd be talking about paragliding and the fact that this is a hot girl who paraglides. Most of them, you know, do coke, hang out on Instagram and watch makeup videos on YouTube. And this girl paraglides. So you want to jump up and down and get excited about what's special and what's unique about the girl. Tess, do you know any women as beautiful as you who also paraglide? If you do, could you sort of hook me up? That'd be really appreciated. So yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunately quite a male-dominated sport, but
I don't like men.
But yeah, you know, there are some pretty attractive women that I know in the sport. Maybe not like models, but yeah, attractive women. Yeah.
I'm a wee bit fussy when it comes to looks after my living in and studying acting in Soho, New York, and whatever, having girlfriends in St. Petersburg and all these Latvia places and San Jose, Costa Rica, and Rio and all this. So yeah, I like them pretty. But if they can paraglide too. So yeah, I honestly think the fact that my clients are, we should announce in the last 48 hours, we have had a wedding. Tess got sent a wedding video. We've had a guy announce that he's dating he was homeless when he did this, when he bought the program. Don't ask me how. He's now dating an agency model. And what was the other one? Oh, one of my favorite clients from a while ago. He's got the most insanely amazing Dutch girl. He's in a serious relationship with her now. They're about to move in. And this is definitely the one for him, he thinks. After a lot of fun with a bunch of girls who weren't necessarily the one. And this guy, you know, admitted on camera he was suicidal. So it's been a big, 36 hours for Social Coach in terms of client results. That's the ones we hear of. There's many more we don't hear of. The guy with the Dutch girl he's crazy about, another guy I introduced him to from my network, he's just had his first kid. So anyway, yeah, and I think the fact that we don't make it about girls' beauty, it obviously is, but that's not the primary reason you should be interested in certainly a younger woman. I think that's why we've been able to get such great results. Yeah, so hit us with your questions, hammer us with your questions. When I look at my little YouTube graph, the times it goes up is so often in response to your questions. And we had a really impressive thing last week where a guy, I gave really good content, but I missed one thing that I should have explained, and his question helped me explain it and give much better value for everyone. Tess, do you want to add anything to the don't make it about beauty thing?
Yeah. I think we covered it pretty well, James. But you know, this is I've seen a question come up with relation to this one, which is quite interesting. But so what women, they do value their appearance. That is true. That's how society has conditioned women to be very conscious of our appearance. But for women who are naturally beautiful, potentially models, yeah, who are told this all the time, it completely devalues that, right? And it just means that also that being the first thing you say to a woman and really putting a lot of emphasis on that, you're just it's obvious. It's so obvious. And because she hears this all the time, it's almost annoying. It's like, okay, cool, I'm beautiful. Yes, tell me what's next. Okay, so this might be different for women who are, you know, average or below average in beauty, let's say. I hate to put numbers on things. I hate that. But yeah, women who don't get told they're beautiful all the time, maybe they would like it. Maybe they would actually appreciate it a lot more. But I'm talking about women who are spoiled for choice with men. They're always told they're beautiful. Definitely do not be doing this because it's just meaningless to her.
Yeah, and it's so Jackie really rants about this. The girl who's got a lot of YouTube videos. We might just do a good question. We'll get into the next point soon. If women hate being told they are beautiful, why do they put so much effort into their appearance? Because that's what us men want. But you don't go up to them highlighting that. Because they don't want to be seen that way. They know that's what's important. But it's really just like prostitution. So many relationships. It's like, I got some money, maybe a bit older than you, and you're pretty beautiful. I'd love to slobber all over you for 15 minutes, then, you know, fart and roll over and go to sleep, maybe even hold you for a while, and let's do a transaction. But I mean, for a girl who still thinks she's got it, that's so offensive. I've lived in New York and I made friends with a guy who was a nightclub promoter, and the hottest girls in New York weren't at the yuppie bars chasing investment bankers and hedge fund dudes. They were in the hipster community. They were with all the cool kids, and yeah, it's just incredible how a bunch of my ex-girlfriends, a bunch of my employees and ex-employees, how like legitimately beautiful girl, so many of them are revolted by money. Some of them just, you know, just almost rebel against it. I know Tess has talked many times about how she doesn't want some high-strung surgeon or hedge fund manager or, you know, $50 million CEO. Why? I mean, Tess's word, he'll be a crap dad. There'll be no surfing trips, camping trip, not once in a million years. I'll never see him. He's probably going to screw his assistant. As soon as they get old and his assistant gets some fake boobs and some fake lips, he'll be banging her. It's like, yeah, I mean, this is the life that so many rich men have. So yeah, and a lot of women like Tess have decided, nah, that maybe she did it in her early 20s. I'm like, no, I want to be respected as a human being, not a set of boobs and legs. Just to put this in perspective for you, I don't know if this is the best metaphor. Imagine you get to meet Elon Musk and you're like, man, you're worth like what? $830 billion. I've got the M and the B mixed up. That's so cool, dude. Tell me, that must be so good. What's it like being worth $830 billion? He'd be like, fuck you. I've changed the world. I've done more for the environment than anyone alive. I've saved free speech. Some people would say I'm saving democracy. Yeah, I've got robots. It's like, yeah, they want to be valued for a bit more than that. Now, there are the beautiful girls who only want to be valued for their beauty, and good luck with them in your early 20s if you do it at their place. But yeah, that's not a healthy long-term strategy for a happy life. And a lot of rich guys end up with the women who just value themselves for their beauty. That's probably my number one filter I use for women, apart from, are you on anxiety medication? Do you see your therapist all the time? Have you used a seeking arrangement app in recent times? I'm getting a bit carried away here. Tess, just to round this point out, thank you, Peter. That's a great question, but I think Elon Musk was the best answer. Direct game, which is what so many dating coaches teach. I come up to you. I'm obviously 20 years or more older than you. I'm nowhere near as attractive as you. And I start by going, hey, I just saw you from across the room. Yeah, you're really cute. I just come up and say hi. How does that hit, Tess?
Yeah, I explained this before, but basically, I'm like, okay, a bit creepy. You've been checking me out before you come to say hello. That automatically makes me have a bit of a barrier up. And again, it's just so cheesy. I'm like, you're just trying so hard. Yeah, and to me, it's, yeah, you've put me on a pedestal and you've made it about how I look. It's like, I've decided I want to have sex with you. based on me checking you out from across the bar. So yeah, it's like pretty repulsive. I would immediately have a barrier up.
That's fantastic. Of my female coaches, role models, Jackie says that, Monique says that, Val says that they basically all do. I mean, some of my ex-girlfriends who are models, they say it's the most revolting thing a man can ever do to me. It's just like, I feel like a walking vagina. Okay, so we've had a few questions before. So yeah, from everyone, hit us with your questions. That's where we give you the value. What are your fears if you're over 50 or even over 40 about dating younger women? It's probably you're scared of harsh rejection. You're scared of public humiliation, especially if you do the direct beauty approach. Many of you are insecure. You're not tall, ripped, handsome enough. You don't have a Ferrari. You don't want to be humiliated in public by some young girl using you. Anyone who Googles, the fairly iconic actor Alec Baldwin and his, oh my God, he's got a toxic one. Many of you be worried there's no connection. There's this huge generation gap. The sex is okay, but it's boring. You're worried the girl's got a lack of emotional maturity. Some of you are worried you'll get a younger woman if you use cash to get it, and you'll get your heart broken badly, and that happens quite a bit with older men dating younger women. The societal pressure. And the final thing is, where can I meet them? Where can I meet younger women worth dating? So yeah, hit us with your questions, and we will move on to our StreamYard banner number 2, if this silly old dope can find it. How to be a man with younger women. They are 10, 15, 20 years younger than you. If you want to date younger women, you must be a man. You must be confident. You must be in control of most of all situations. Tess, do you want to touch on that? It's basically what you spend your life doing, making men really, really confident. So talk about how you help guys on Zoom and boot camps and how much more attractive. And you've even admitted being incredibly attracted to some of them after you coach them. Oh, this guy's really cool. I've done a good job on him. Just talk more about that so the guys can understand. This happens with all my coaches. It's like they walk in on the Friday, you're like, oh, look what the cat dragged in. And then they walk out on the Sunday. Oh, he's better than the guy I'm dating. So yeah,
I know it's pretty amazing, some of the transformations we see. But yeah, it just shows you that how much women, even when we know exactly what's going on, we've taught guys to come across this way with the way they're communicating, that their body language, the way they present themselves, and yet so we've constructed the whole thing, and then still we're affected by it at the end, because when guys are able to come across as really confident in all of those ways, with their communication, non-verbally as well, their body language, the way they present themselves, that is attractive. That is so attractive to women, and that's like on a deep level. So we can't deny that. It's just like, wow, who's this guy? There's like an automatic draw there. Even when logically we're like, okay, I've trained him to be like that. How can you come across as confident? Okay, a lot of that non-verbally, posture is a huge one. No fidgeting, etc. Your voice, verbally as well, just being direct, succinct, being the leader in your movements, making suggestions for things. Just taking command of that situation, no signs of being nervous or insecure. And also not putting her on a pedestal, because that also it devalues you. So a confident guy with high self-esteem, he has great posture, great eye contact, minimal fidgeting, again, he asks engaging questions. He has good listening because he's able to engage and not be thinking about other things. And he asks engaging questions, and he takes command of the situation as well. So yeah, he might make suggestions for where you sit, or that's just sort of a full picture of what it is. But yeah, these are things that women are undeniably attracted to. So if you can come across as a confident man, yeah, women will just be so attracted that we can't deny it.
Yeah, it's like we see big boobs and thin and hip to waist ratios and thick hair and symmetrical features and pretty eyes and unblemished skin, and we get all horny. Women see a guy who's confident, who looks like he's can get to the top of any social hierarchy quickly. This is the great thing that evolutionary psychologists talk about and biologists. They don't want the rich guy. They want the guy who could be stripped of everything and become rich. They want, and again, they want the guy who they perceive can rise rapidly up social hierarchies. Because if we think back, even a few hundred years, not only a few thousand, you couldn't own vast chunks of Apple or Tesla or Bitcoin or huge amounts of property. You can only really for much of human history, we can only really have what we could carry on our backs. So yeah, women are attracted to guys who can display huge resources, but what really attracts them is the guy who shows that he can rapidly rise up status hierarchies to protect his offspring. And there's a lot of science behind this, which might explain why I do pretty well. And many of my clients out of Ferrari. So as I said, just in a 24-hour period, we had a guy who got married, and we had some guy who was homeless when he somehow bought the course, who's now dating an agency model. Can you just tell the guys how you got these results for them, Tess? I'm not lying about this either. I'm not. One of the guys has come along to these and talked about it.
Yeah. Are you talking about? I won't say his name. Just I don't know if we're allowed to. Just for his
guy
privacy.
in San Diego and a sweet little accountant.
Yeah. Okay, I know who that is. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome client. Yeah. So how do we achieve these results? Because it's actually so easy. It's so easy to stand out from the crowd. And when you're doing what we tell you, actually connecting with women, listening, engaging, connecting with her beyond the surface level, you are going to stand out from every other guy. She's going to go home thinking, wow, who was that guy I spoke to? Like I had a conversation I haven't had with anyone who I just met, who I, for the first time. And that's really memorable to her. And then on top of that, when you're able to build sexual tension and, sexual attraction, that's like, she's going away thinking about you. And it feels like something really special, right? It feels like there was genuine attraction. There was a spark. She's thinking, wow, I've been waiting all year to meet this guy, because it never happens. It never happens. So it's actually really simple. I'm not surprised that, that client got really great results, because he was a really fast learner and he was fully engaged. He just took everything on board, had a great attitude, and just nailed it. So star student.
Fantastic. Tess, have you muted or?
No, can you hear me, James?
Yeah. I don't know. Did Tess drop out for everyone? We've got some great questions and comments come through. We'll get to that very, very shortly. We should also welcome, I think we've got a bunch of new people.
Yeah, some new names. Say hi if you're new here, guys.
If anyone's having trouble with Tess's sound, just let me know, because she seems to be dropping out for me.
Oh, okay. Any feedback on that in the chat, guys, will be really helpful for us. If you can hear me, say yes, we can hear you. If not, say no, we can't hear you.
I am the stupidest man on God's earth. I just opened the live video on my computer and everything's screwed up.
All right, so let's have a look at some of the questions. We've got a few here coming through. Yes, we can hear you. No, you haven't dropped out. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your feedback there. Awesome. So, James, that was just you. Let's get on to some of the questions.
I'm a fool. I might just do one thing first. I just want to round out this point. Must be a man, must be in control. Tess, can you just take the in brackets thing out of any of the banners I haven't while I'm saying this?
Sure.
That would be
No
amazing.
Yeah.
I've done most of them. Yeah, it's all about the things we talk about regularly: touch, eye contact, body language, conversation skills, reading women's signals, women's tests, how to dress yourself, how to run a date plan, some level of sexual confidence, some level of social proof. It's the stuff we talk about over and over and over again. You know, having a place that's not like a man cave. There's all these skills, and if you can put particularly the key ones: touch, eye contact, body language, conversation skills, female psychology, if you can put them together, things get very, very, very easy. And the way that TESS teaches this to you is like this. Okay, so what happens is you get to go on a date with this wonderful woman, catwalk model, and I'd say one of the world's great female dating coaches. She's the boss of all these women, and we do these events where we transform guys' lives. And that's what your tomorrow will look like. And what we're going to do is you're going to practice approaching tests, you're going to practice dating tests. And the goal is to basically look at what you're doing right, look at what you're doing wrong, and look at what you need to do to improve, and put that into a plan for you. So you'll do all the approaches, you'll get Tess's feedback, and then you'll practice, you'll make mistakes, practice again, refine, refine, refine. She'll give you a bunch of amazing conversation starters. She'll give you some tips so that you never have things to say for the rest of your life. And then probably the best thing of all, you'll get a written plan of exactly what you need to do to succeed with women massively. And honestly, if you just do a half-assed job of implementing one or two things on that list, even one, your life will just change dramatically. I would have given $100,000 to do this in my 20s without probably more. I'd have borrowed money to do it because it would have completely changed my life. And you'll walk away knowing how to get dates this week. And if you're skeptical, God, once you learn how to read signals and dress a bit, it is so easy to beat the average American, Australian, Canadian, Dutch, German, because so many guys have just checked out and they've always been completely useless. So that's what your tomorrow can look like. We usually charge $1,495 for this, but if you book into a link tomorrow, Tess will put up in the chat, you can have it for just $29, which is a complete bargain. What's usually $1,500 is just $29. You need to pass a short application. Okie dokie. Well, yeah, if anyone is interested in that will change your life, guaranteed. The next point is don't be a fool to women's tests. Before we do that, we might just hop into some of the questions and comments. Tess, do you want to get them up?
Yeah, sure. I'm just pinning the link in the chat for you guys. So that's readily available for you to book in with me. Let's have a look at some of the questions that have come up. We've had some good ones. You guys are being super active tonight, which is awesome. We love that. Okay, I think we're up to, here we go. From Steve. Welcome, Steve. Stevie, her friends and my family judge the age difference. How to handle? Okay. James, do you want to handle this one?
I'll take that one. I have huge amounts of experience at this question. Yeah. And I like to tell you, you book a date with Tess, you'll completely change your life, and you will. But I can't say this is going to be easy. If you execute, you will. I can't say this is going to be easy, and it has a wide variety. I've found in Western countries, Australia, America, the age gap is a much bigger difference than it is in, say, Russia or Latin America, places where, or Eastern Europe, places where the great women of my life have come from. I've had some good experiences in Western countries, but I've also had some really bad ones. I had one mother who was basically just lobbying to get her fly around the world model to dump me from the moment she met me. She just hated me with a passion. And I eventually gave up on this girl who was probably one of the great women of my life, just because I'm not competing with her mother. I don't know if any of you have had the experience of dating a girl who's seeing a therapist regularly. Don't, because you got to play what a therapist is going to say. It's like you're dating two people. It's just don't do it. But yeah, it was like that with her mother. It's just like I just give up. So yeah, it's a luck of a draw. Generally, the more intelligent the girl is, the more enlightened she is, the easier it's going to be. But yeah, it's a struggle, and particularly when you're talking fairly wide age gaps. If you're like 53 and you're dating a 30-year-old, I don't think it'll be anywhere near as wide as me, or sort of 40 dating a 21-year-old, or 41 dating a 20-year-old or something. So it might not be as extreme as that. But there's still, having said that, I don't think 55 and 30, if her parents are educated, would be that big a deal. So I actually retract. I don't think it's that big a deal, actually. If you're talking about women who are 30 or over, or even 28 or over, which is sort of my market now, it wasn't 10, 15 years ago as much, I don't think it's really going to be that much of a problem. So great question. Thank you. This is where your questions are so valuable. I've got my stock standard answer to dating younger women, because I've had some atrocious experiences where I'm dating a 20-year-old or a 22-year-old and the parents just hated me. But this is because I was like 41 or something. But yeah, if I was, whatever the age I am now, dating a 30-year-old, I don't think it would be that much of a drama. And her mum probably wouldn't have the power over her that she does now. And she'd be hoping her daughter gets hooks up soon so she can be a granny. She might be on my team now. Some of them have been on my team before, until I managed to get them off my team and they found out my love of travel. So anyway, next question.
James is asking, what is a good way to approach someone you like if there is only a small window of opportunity, for example, in a supermarket checkout line? Good one, James.
That's a ripper question. I can start. You can start. Whatever you want, Tess. You're the pretty one. You decide. I start. Okay, I've got dramatically more experience at most of this stuff than Tess, I'd imagine. This is a great question. It's one of the reasons you need a high level of skill. I believe with the great women who defined my life, it was a really difficult, problematic approach and seduction that they weren't handed to me. They just weren't handed to me. There's one case where I was in the line at a ballet somewhere, and there was like 15 people lining up waiting for a coffee. Well, I tried to get the girl who was working there, who turned out to be one of the great women of my life. So yeah, this isn't my intellectual property, it's someone else's. They talked about how women particularly attractive women, they'll open their window, like open their legs, open their window for a short period of time. It's the same, they potentially open their legs for a short period of time, and you've got to jump through. You've got to know when to jump through. You've got to have the skills to jump through. It's exactly the same with approach. They open their window for a short period of time, and if you don't make it through the window in that short period of time, you're just a loser. You're not very confident, not confident enough for them. Now, if you just want to date little average, ugly fat girls, then you don't need this level of confidence. But if you want to get really good women that most of the other guys want, particularly the ones who are not crazy, like a lot of hot women in our culture, you've got to be able to go through that window, the first or second time she opens it. Because unless your name's Leonardo DiCaprio, she's probably not going to open it 3 or 4 times, because if you don't go the first time, she's lost a bit of interest in you. If you don't get through that window the second time, it's not just you're going to get through the window, you got to get through it smoothly. You don't go through windows like me when I was drunk, and I managed to get through the window, but I pulled the speaker cable of my stereo down and I need stitches in my ears because I had like 30 Crown Lagers and a few shots within 14 hours. So you got to get through the window smoothly. You need skills to get through the window. This is what you do when you grow up in Perth, Western Australia. You just drink vast amounts of alcohol and play footy and cricket and listen to Akadaka and Cold Chisel and surf. That's all you do. Anyway, I got carried away with the window metaphor. So yeah, so when you meet a girl at the grocery store, it's like, okay, I can read the signals. Tess has trained me. I know how to start this. I'm just going to go in there. I don't know for sure if it's going to work. She might have a boyfriend. She might be running late. She might be a vegan. Some of you guys might want to date vegans. I don't mind. They taste better. Yeah, you just got to have the skills to go through it. And sincerely, the women who've defined my life, girl standing at a volcano, I used to have to do this. Girl standing in a bookstore with students watching me, I used to have to do this. Model with another model and 2 6'5", 6'6" football player hedge fund guys. I just got to do this. The women who've defined my life were difficult to get in terms of it's like the universe threw obstacles in front of me in order for me to get them, and I had to be man enough to get them. So yeah, supermarkets are a great place to approach women because everyone goes there. Most women shop themselves, and if you're shopping in the sort of over 25 female market, any girl who still looks half decent when she's 25, 26 in the Western culture, she's probably buying and preparing healthy food. She's certainly eating Macca's or the average restaurant every day with, what do you call it, seed oils and all that crap. Tess, do you want to add anything to be... Okay, former model who paraglides. Have you ever been approached at a supermarket? Yes or no?
No, I haven't actually.
How freaking useless are you Australian boys? Seriously, isn't she hot enough for you? Oh, I'd have assumed you had and had said, okay, of the 10 times you've been approached, how many of them were actually decent? But I didn't even get to that question because none of you dullards bother talking to hot girls. That's why they're so easy. Anyway, that's why the guy in San Diego is dating a model, because no other guy had the courage or the skill to talk to her. Anyway, I'm ranting a bit today. So great questions, dudes. Let's hit me with your best question. That's a song from when I was a boy by Pat Benatar. For anyone who likes 80s music, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, this one, I think, what is a good way to approach someone in a supermarket, let's say, though? Like how do you actually approach that? So obviously, I think this is like a non-implied social setting. So going up and saying, hey, I'm Tess, and introducing yourself by name can be a little bit risky, unless you've had really good eye contact and there's been some sort of moment where there's it's kind of invited, then you can come across and use that bit of intensity to just come in and introduce yourself by name. But otherwise, you'd probably want to be using something in your context, in that environment, to start the conversation. Like, I think James made a joke about, asking a woman if she can help find where the broccoli is. And that actually turned into a really great opportunity for him. So, that's situational. It's kind of relatable. She's not going to have a barrier up because it's, the first thing you say to her, it's about being in the supermarket together, right? But I think that it's really important to get away from the supermarket as soon as you can. If you ask her a question, ask her a question about herself, or get to the point where you say, oh, I'm James, by the way, what's your name? Then it's kind of, you're then sending the message that, oh, okay, I don't just want to talk about the broccoli. I actually want to get to know you as well. Might be limited time there. So obviously you want to build some level of sexual tension as soon as possible.
That's great, Tess. It really is the window metaphor there. You've just got this short time where she's around, and if you do what we say, or if you're tall and okay looking, women will be hanging around you at the supermarket all the time. Like guys think they need to be really hot. No, you just need to dress well and be aware of women. And as I keep saying, women are more desperate now than probably any time since World War II in the West, because of COVID and the post-Harvey Weinstein thing, and everyone shops and works and exercises and watches comedy from home. You just got to run through this. So what's a good way to approach someone as a small window of opportunity? You just got to be quick. This is where the practice initially with Tess on Zoom comes in. We start you off with sort of the typical bar or party approaches. We walk and go, hey, how you doing? I'm James. What's your name? Then you get into this conversation structure. It's very detailed. Our clients know it inside out. And then once you get okay and you get some results with what I call the easy approaches, then it's like, okay, there's a girl who comes into the checkout line behind you. And then if you sort of sit and wait and look around and look at her and what am I going to say? She's really pretty. Then it's just going to be one of those dead approaches. You might as well just do a really noisy fart. You have about as much chance of getting on a date. At least that's interesting. So women judge you by how smooth you are, because women are constantly looking for pre-selection signals. That's like, women are kind of crazy. They want guys who are really good at picking up women. Whereas men look for girls who are virgins in many cases. We really want a girl who's no good at sex, and but women want guys who are really good at sex. Anyway, the human race is doomed. So yeah, you just got to be quick. You got to have the training, and you got to have some guts. You got to have some balls. But once you have the training, the balls just magically grow and grow and grow and grow. You got like blue whale testicles soon after TESS has trained you 7 or 8 times. So yeah, I've asked broccoli. I've said lots of vegetables tonight. I've said, oh, what's that? Or you look healthy. Or yeah, I mean the checkout line. I mean, I've gone, oh, did you know they put all these things here to attract you, to try to get you to buy at the last minute? And I just give her a little insight into retail marketing. I mean, I've done so many things. It's not funny. I've asked girls what they do for a living. I've asked girls where they're from, if they don't look like they're Australian. I've had a girl who's dressed quite stylishly. I'm like, hey, where are you from? And she said, Australia. I said, get the fuck out of here. You're dressed too well to be an Australian girl. I didn't say that, but something close. I think that's an Eddie Murphy line. Yeah, you just got to, the thing is, it's not what you say at the start that matters. It's having the formula after, where I can just quickly talk about what's in a shopping trolley or whatever and go, oh, so what's, tell me your favorite thing to do when you're not buying veggies at Woolies or something. And then I introduce their hobbies and interests, and I know exactly when to introduce. So it's like, there's not one thing with dating. You've got to have the conversation skills. You've got to be able to read signals. You've got to know the strategy. You've got to know when to move on to something else. You've got to have all the tricky little lines to say, oh, so what's your favorite thing to do when you're not shopping for veggies at Woolies, where you can ask about her hobbies and interests instead of going, Tess, it was nice to meet you. I find you very sexually appealing. I was just wondering what your 3 favorite hobbies and interests are, to see if I could have some ammunition to perhaps structure a conversation so as to maybe move things towards a more horizontal, sexual natured relationship. So yeah, what were your 3 favorite hobbies and interests? That's what pickup artists used to do, basically. I'm just satirizing them. I didn't make that shit up. So yeah, you just got to be smooth. You bring out your inner black man. Learn to walk like Snoop Dogg or something. Okay, so yeah, supermarkets are amazing. If you look at my favorite places of all time, bookstores, bookstore cafes, anything related to travel, particularly independent travel, somewhere a bit off the beaten track, where if you see a hot girl there, she's going to be far more interesting than the average girl. And yeah, for me, one of the big winners I've had is organic grocers, supermarkets. Because if you see a girl in her 30s who's in those places, they're still hot, well into their 30s when you meet girls there. Yoga studios is another example. Next question, Tess. Great questions, guys. I really appreciate this. I think we're providing you so much more value.
Okay, so Stevie says she wants to party. I want chill nights. Energy mismatch a problem? Okay, so well, she's probably going to want to chill with you. Oh, I shouldn't say this. Well, I should say it. Okay, if she likes to party but you like to spend nights in, how do you get her to spend nights in with you? If you have bedroom skills, she's not going to want to be partying. She's going to want to spend her nights with you. So that's a little bit advanced. That's not when we start our training, but we do. That is part of our more advanced training. But yeah, energy mismatch problem. Potentially. The thing is, your relationship doesn't always have to be around, based around one thing. Okay, so when you're in a relationship with someone, it's very common to have your own interests and hobbies and things, as long as there's some common ground in the middle where you have similar values, or you see the world the same way, or you have some things in common which you can base your connection around. So yeah, it doesn't. If you really don't want to party and she likes to party, that's fine. She doesn't have to party with you. James, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, if you've got the sexual skills, if you've got the connection, yeah, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this. Women, particularly beautiful women, are the most malleable creatures on God's earth. If you're a man and you lead, they'll commit to anything. They just don't care. They just want to be around a man. This is the stuff I've got girls to do. It's like girlfriends hooking up with my new girlfriends, even though the ex-girlfriends are like fly around the model and the new girlfriend's not. Flying across the world to do that, just as you can see me again. You've just got to be really strong, and the women will come into your reality. It happens all the time. Ask any guy who's really good with women. Ask any woman who's been in love. That's one of the issues with women. If you're good, and this has really stung me one time, because I was, at a stage in my life, so good at this acquire and blow women's minds thing. I don't just mean sexually. Like, women will morph themselves into what they think you want to be, which is great when, you're banging them 10, 15 hours a week and you're traveling on holidays and stuff. But once you get into the actual realities of a long-term relationship where the guy might be working hard and you might have other things you want to do in life, that's where a potential energy mismatch could definitely be a problem. Because I broke up with one girl who was very difficult, and towards the end, she was wonderful early on. And yeah, she gets a new boyfriend and she hadn't drunk one sip of alcohol in the whole time I'd known her. Then she starts, I see bottles of wine in the fridge. Just like, what? And then she starts eating meat again when she'd been vegan for a long time, or she's maybe pescatarian. So yeah, women will just morph in. If you're a strong, confident enough man, women will just morph into whatever they think you want to be. And the beautiful ones are the worst at it because they don't get attracted to men very often. So yeah, in the short term, it doesn't matter if we train you. In the long term, if she likes house music or dance music, and I like Tchaikovsky and Mahler and Beethoven, unless I can get her to like that, because she's probably not getting me into house music, unless she's got some really good drugs, but I only like the natural drugs. Next question, or maybe we'll go on to the next point now. Okie dokie. I'll start with this because it's just mission freaking critical. The number one skill you need to have to whatever you want. Get the models, get the threesomes, get the much younger women, and most importantly of all, have a happy long-term relationship with a woman, let alone raise a family with a woman. The number one skill by far, nothing's even close, is women's tests. Now, TESS might argue that's a subsection of women's psychology. I'm not debating her on that. But you've got to understand how women screw with men, how they see what we're made of, how they test how confident we are, how they pull us down if they think they've got a really good man and they want to keep him in check so he doesn't run off and get other women, how they intentionally break down your confidence. Many women will do this. And also how when they're not happy with you, they try to hurt you savagely. Women do this, just like some men use their fists on women, which in nearly all cases is completely reprehensible. Many women will use their psychological advantage on men to really hurt us and hurt us emotionally. When I say nearly every case reprehensible, if some woman's beating the crap out of my son or daughter, yeah, there's instances where whatever. I shouldn't probably talk about this. It's extreme, but yeah, the thing is, women's psychological massive tenfold psychological test game advantage over us has never been kept in check. If anything, it's running out of check, and they're watching soap operas and reading books that are teaching them how to do it. Like I don't know if there's many more literary guys there, but I mean, some of the great books of all time, particularly written by women, are just a manual on how to test and manipulate and control men. So yeah, people are switching off for women's tests, the most important thing of all. That really astounds me. Yeah, so I've had them all the time. If you want to date women who are younger than you, if you're over 50, if you've got a bit of grey, if you're clearly not like 25 anymore, you're going to get tested like a MF. So yeah, the number of times I've had a girl back to my place, or I've even got her on a date and she goes, oh, listen, you're really exciting, interesting, but you're just way too old for me. So I just want to, whatever. You understand? And then they sleep with me that night. So I'm like, oh, that's a shame. I really like you. Anyway, yeah, so tell me more about your travels through Uzbekistan. And they're like, oh, God, this guy really gets it. I really want to bang him now. So that was just a complete, I don't know, it's just a complete mirage she threw out there just to see if you'd go, oh, but you know, I'm really fit and healthy for my age, and yeah, my dick still works pretty well, and I can still bench press 110. Most young guys can't bench that much. So yeah, men are constantly falling into these traps. The number of times I've had, oh, I'm just not sexually attracted to you. And sometimes they go, oh, is it my nose? It's always the nose. I know I'm really skinny, but I bet you it's the nose. They just piss themselves laughing and bang me. So you've got to know how to handle these games. Tess, would that one work on you?
I don't know, James. I think the thing is, I think what I'm saying would work is the fact that you just show that you have no insecurity over that problem, right? You're not taking it that objection as like, okay, I understand that there's a problem with me. It's just like, oh, okay, but there's no problem with me, so I'm going to continue. And that's really endearing to a woman. I think that level of confidence and self-esteem is really attractive to women. So so sometimes I could imagine, yeah, she kind of voices that opinion, and the fact that you just don't care, she's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I don't need to care either. You know, just like if you do have an insecurity about yourself and you start showing that you're insecure about it, women will judge you for that. She'll be like, oh, okay, that's a problem because you're presenting it that way, right? So when you present something as not a problem, she's also like, oh yeah, actually that doesn't matter. So yeah, anytime you have any sort of weakness or whatever, if you just own that and you're really, really comfortable in your own skin, yeah, women will not judge that as a weakness.
Yeah, so what happened there, I mean, and I got sex rather quickly that time, is she threw a test at me. Listen, I'm just not sexually attracted to you. And I said, whatever, because I was very promiscuous at the time. I said, oh, it's the nose again. It's the nose, isn't it? Or am I too skinny? I'm just completely making fun of her silly objection because I knew it was nonsense. And again, I keep talking about this film, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, the way what's his name, Javier Bardem character handles the women's tests. You guys will watch it. Most of you won't have a clue what's going on, but yeah, it's superb. And there's only 2 screenwriters in history who could ever write that screenplay. Possibly only 1, actually. No, maybe 2. I'm a huge fan. So yeah, tests is like, it's everything. If you're not going to learn women's tests to quite a high level, I mean, I don't know, just learn to love the taste of dick, because women are just going to be endless, relentless pain for you. And people say, oh yeah, I can just do an ugly one who won't be too difficult. She's still going to get really nasty. You just got to understand female psychology and the way they screw with men. It's absolutely compulsory. I'll just give you another one. I read this a while ago. Oh, again, this was a really good one. A New York model. What was she? This one she's 22, I was 37. She was, listen, I met you in a bar. You're dramatically older than you. I'm not sleeping with you for at least a week, probably a month. At the end of this wonderful date that we both enjoyed so much. So yeah, she slept with me at the end of the second date. So yeah, women say this shit just to see if you're one of the guys who gets it, or you just won the other doofuses. Again, as we keep talking about with Charles Darwin, it shows you've been around attractive women before. And the women are so keen about pre-selection is they don't need to date you for a few months to see if you actually are a good boyfriend. They can judge from the way you deal with the nonsense and the bullshit they throw in your way. If you handle that very confidently, rather than making a joke of it, oh, it's the nose again. It's always the nose. And then they just throw themselves at you, literally. So many of my clients, they've had this big woman's test that Tess and I taught them to pass, and they've just had sex straight away. And again, in relationships, you're constantly going to be relentlessly tested. So that one wasn't very popular, even though it's the most valuable content we've given away in 2020. It's debatable, but yeah, if you don't understand women's tests, you got to love to learn the taste. Love to learn the taste of dick. Love to learn to love the taste. That's a tongue twister. You got to love to learn the. Anyway, I won't say it anymore. I might get nauseous. Elon Musk's robots might come and save you. Did you know that the Chinese robots, they've got really good at backflips and somersaults and all this sort of stuff, but the PayPal guys are pretty cluey. They realize whenever some new technology comes along, what's the first industry to make money out of it? Porn, sex. So the Elon Musk robot advantage is they've got the best hands of any of the robots in the world. If you have an Optimus versus a Chinese one, the Optimus will win the street fight, but the Chinese one will win the street fight, but the Optimus will win the other thing, which we can't talk about. Anyway, if that amused one of you, tell me. If you think I'm a big-nosed twit who's not funny at all, I'd love that feedback as well. So yeah. Your sex bots will be made by Elon Musk very soon. So yeah, just think of Elon while you're not learning about women's tests, because he'll have a good alternative for you quite soon. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny, but no one else probably did. I got to laugh at a test, which is tough.
Wait, there was an interesting comment that I just want to acknowledge, because it's with regard to women's tests. Rangers are saying, the world tests men every day. Why should men put up with women's tests? If men come out and survive the whole world's tests, that should be enough. More testing by women is a massive turnoff. Okay, I just want to shed a little bit of light on why women actually test. Okay, if you think about this evolutionarily, like women, when women start dating you and start sleeping with you, we have a lot larger risk involved in that, and that is because women, we have to bear the children, right? So when if we're gonna sleep with a guy, we need to make sure that risk is worth the potential of maybe getting pregnant. Now you might argue that there's contraceptives, etc., but I still think that that sort of evolutionary psychology is really built into us on a deeper level. And so for women, we want to test because we have to know, is this guy, how much does he value us? How good a partner is he going to be long term? Where do I stand for him? Why is he going to run away if I get pregnant? Is he going to be there to support me? What kind of a father is he going to be? All of this stuff is, so we test all of these things to try and figure out, like, how well does he actually fit into what I expect? How much does he actually value me in his life, and how much would he sacrifice to be with me? Those are a lot of things that women test, and it's because it's built into us. And if we get pregnant, men can basically just fuck off, and women they can't. So that's why we need to do these tests. So just to put a bit of perspective there, it's kind of to protect ourselves.
You see how important this stuff is? I believe that's Tessa's first profanity in 25 YouTube lives or something. You see how important this stuff is to her. She used the F word. It's like, yeah, I could be carrying a child and he could go sleep with some 22-year-old. I need to know he won't. So I got to run him through all my tests. Yeah, I mean, you can get angry at women for this, and I certainly did before I figured this out. But yeah, they're just doing what they do. Just like, if I'm dating a girl for a while and she puts on 10 kilos, I'm like, I'm not dating you. I'm sorry. I can't do this. My little boy, my dick won't work. It's not happening. Sorry, I can't do this. Because you don't want the mother of your children while you're out working, supporting your family, sitting eating Oreos, cookies, watching soap operas with your kids. Yeah, that's why I'm going to marry a naturopath or something, or a girl who plants vegetables and grows them herself. So, yeah, we might put that. Can you quickly flick that question up, Tess?
Yeah.
So, the world tests men every day. Why should men put up with women's tests? If men have come out and survived the world's test, that should be enough. More testing women is a massive turnoff because they're testing something very, very different. There's probably some overlap. Women's test is the most complicated thing in all of dating. Everything I teach, everything Tess teaches, is quite straightforward to explain, and we've got systems and processes for all of this. But women's test is like particle physics. It's immensely complicated. The way Tess tested someone when she was 22, she's 35 now, believe it or not, is vastly different to the way she tests when she's 35. And if she's a mother, she's probably testing vastly different at 45. If she's a single woman, she might still be back. She might go back to testing the way she was when she was 22. Hot girls test very different to less attractive girls. A hot girl with Leonardo DiCaprio might not test much at all because she thinks she's, whatever. So yeah, it's so ridiculously complicated. Then, where she is in her period can determine it. So yeah, so much of testing is she's trying to figure out who you are, how honest you are, and how confident you are. The best content, that was one of Tess's best little pieces ever, and you guys turned off, you silly fools. So anyone watching the replay, you should go back and watch Tess's little bit a few times. Okie dokie. We've got lots of questions, but we might move on because did we have any more questions specifically on women's tests?
No, I don't think so.
That's the most important subject of all. You are not, point 4, you are not 25 again. So don't do it. You're just not 25. This is one of the most revolting things of all. And guys are getting big muscles. They're getting fake tans. Guys in their 40s going out getting tattoos. They wear these designer label clothes. Even worse, they try to dress in the latest trends. It's like you see some dude with gray hair, or worse, he's dyed his gray hair. He's got most of his ankles showing. It's like, what the hell are you doing, man? What the hell are you doing? You see guys, whatever, going out and getting surgery. And it's like, I mean, so many women just are revolted by that because, men aren't allowed to do this. The women are, but men aren't. So yeah, you got to act your age, but you got to be Sean Connery, James Bond, Daniel Craig, James Bond, 50-year-old. You're not the like, oh, I'm who's a super cool young guy? Who gets all the women? Is it Harry Styles or something, or is he old now?
I don't know. I don't think it's Harry Styles. No. Who's a super cool young guy? I don't know. I'm really not into like celebrities or pop culture. So I'm not the person.
Whoever a super cool young guy is right now, don't try to be him. Try to be Daniel Craig, James Bond, who's not that attractive a man, just quietly, at all. When you see him add those tailored suits and that uber confident character, I think a lot of girls wouldn't bang him to save himself. I reckon half of you guys, or 2/3 of you guys on this YouTube live, are much better looking than Daniel Craig. His muscles are steroids, by the way. They're too puffy. So yeah, it's just awful. It's just awful. It's just awful. I think this story will be helpful. I was at an ashram. That's where people go to practice yoga. And one of the guys there was stupidly beautiful. And there was 2 girls who were attractive. I don't know, you don't meant to use numbers, but one was maybe a 9, the other was probably an 8. And the 9 had caught my eye before, particularly if she's an ashram. And this guy was showing off. He was on the grass doing handstand push-ups. I couldn't do that if I practiced that for the rest of my life. I probably could, but it was hard. And I went over and I go, oh my God, man, how do you do that? That's incredible. I can barely do normal push-ups. And I just got him to start showing off. So he went to all these crazy yoga poses and did these super hardcore arm balances. And then there was a pergola beam. I said, oh man, you're so strong. Like, can you do muscle ups? And he goes, yeah, I can do muscle ups. So he goes and does muscle ups and this sort of thing. And he's doing it on a pergola beam. So actually splintered his hand. Anyway, he showed off like a crazy man. I didn't do a single thing right. I didn't try to show anything I could do because I was useless. Some of the girls joined in and tried to do what he did, but no one could go close to him. This guy was remarkable. He said he'd be sitting watching TV and he'd just do hundreds of push-ups. That was his pastime. Beautiful, beautiful man. And I was just telling him what a legend he was. Can anyone guess what happened in the end? The old guy, 20 years older, he got the 9, and this guy got massive lactic acid buildup, and we didn't see him for 3 days. So yeah, I wasn't trying to be young. I wasn't trying to be cool. I wasn't trying to be trendy. I was actually spurring this guy on for the show, but I ended up being the one who gets the sex. And so often old guys who just try so hard, it's just you're trying far too hard. If you're going out to clubs, if you're wearing trendy clothes, if you're trying to dance, one of the big mistakes so many of my clients make is you're a highly educated white man, or didn't even be educated, you're a white man or you're an Asian man, particularly if you're highly educated, you're just not cool. You're just not cool. If you play music, maybe you could be a bit cool. But you try to be cool. You dress like all the fashion designers get their ideas off. Often inner city black men. Black men are uber cool. So yeah, like I always say, the most horrific, disgusting thing that should be banned from all social media is where you see a bunch of highly educated guys in suits like dancing to 80s and 90s music. And it makes me want to vomit, man. It's horrible. It's like porn. So yeah, don't try to be cool. Do not get your teeth whitened. We can teach you, TESS can teach you my ways to do that. There's ways that look natural. In most cases, do not get your hair or your beard dyed unless you're paying someone really good to do that. Keanu Reeves can't find someone to dye his hair properly. So what's he worth? 300-400 million. So I don't know how you guys are going to do it. Just be everything I say is for the general audience. There may be exceptions to some of these. Like if you're a really short guy, there's an argument to actually put on a bit of muscle just to sort of make up for the height, the fact that you're not that tall. But for a lot of guys in their early 50s who start lifting crazy weights 3-4 times a week to get women, it's just such a waste of time. There's a million things you can do more productive than that. Once a week might be a good idea. If you're regularly going along to clubs with her, doing stuff with her girlfriends that you just don't want to do, she's going to know you're just there because you want to get some young pussy. You're just doing what you're told to get the young pussy, and it's really not going to work out for you. I had 2 bi girlfriends mostly for 4.5 years, and I went to a club with them once. It's only because I wanted to go, and I wanted to show them the place I used to go when I was a virgin. I could never get laid, even though I was making really good money. So this nightclub I went to and got drunk, I don't know, 150 times. I never got laid there. So the first time I got laid there, I got a threesome, but I had to BYO. Anyway, that's more information you need about me. Let's move on. So yeah, especially if you're a programmer or an engineer, just do not try to act like a cool guy. It just doesn't work. We had one guy we coached who got good results. He got a girlfriend. It was really good. He went and did a course with one of the few dating coaches in the world who I think, is not bad. He enjoyed the experience, but his style person dressed, I don't want to say ugly, but really unattractive guy who is such a dork, like such a hardcore dork. He dressed him up like his style person dressed him up like Don Johnson in Miami Vice. He had like the pastel t-shirt. I think he had this cream jacket. And then he had these sort of pants, and he had a whole, this is a long time ago, he had a whole bunch of his ankles showing, and he had these sort of cool Gucci loafers. The outfit probably cost a fortune, but it's like the least cool guy. It's like me dressing up like Michael Jackson and trying to dance like him. Dude, you are ridiculous. Don't even think about it. That's an insult to humanity, what you're doing. That's what he looked like. It's just idiot. I mean, most people can't dress like Michael Jackson because it's ridiculous. Anyway, Tess, you want to jump in on your 25 again?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, James. I think that I've talked about this before, but it shows lack of confidence when you're actually trying to push too hard to be something that you're not. So when you can just be really comfortable with your age, comfortable in your own skin, and just present yourself in a way that's not like you're trying really hard to be young, women will respect that. It's actually super attractive. A guy who's just comfortable in his own skin, has that self-esteem. It's it's quite pathetic when you're when you're trying to put on an act. So that's a huge turnoff. When it comes to style, I think I agree, James. Just keep it simple. A timeless look is excellent. Just colors that suit your skin tone. No flashy, costumey things that are trying to draw attention and create some sort of character. It should be your charisma and your ability to create connection with the woman that stands out to her, not your whatever you're wearing. That's the only judgment she should be making of what you're wearing is pretty much no judgment, just that okay, he dresses well. That's all. But no red flags or weird thoughts about how you're dressing.
Yeah, it suits your build, it suits your coloring, it suits your age, it suits your socioeconomic background, or your whatever. Okay, we might just hit over to questions again.
Yeah, sorry, Magnus did inform us we missed one of his questions about women's tests. So we'll just quickly jump back to that one. Magnus, sorry about that, but here we are. How to tell the difference between a woman who tests a lot and a woman who's just playing power games. I had to bail on something recently when it became clear it was bad faith / toxic behavior. Okay, so where do tests come from? I explained that a little bit earlier. I think that, it can come from a bit of an insecurity that women have around, is this guy going to stick around? So we test for loyalty, etc. Like, how much does he value me? Like I said earlier. But if there's a woman who has really low self-esteem, potentially had some trauma, or she's like, had some things she hasn't worked through, a little bit damaged in relationships, etc., then the tests can kind of go out of hand, and that's when you can find women who are really, really jealous, and they're kind of, they're really clingy. They want to look in your phone. They're like, who is that girl you were talking to? All of this kind of really toxic stuff, right? Again, that comes down to a deep level of insecurity around, for her, however that's manifested, however that's come about for her. So I guess, and this is also why I feel bad saying this. James said that red flag, woman who's been having therapy her whole life. But if there's something that hasn't been resolved there, this can sometimes translate to this sort of toxic behavior with tests. So I think if you can bring in healthy communication, when a woman expects you to know what she's thinking without her saying it, if you just recognize that and say, hey, how am I supposed to know what you're thinking? You should just tell me next time. You can help to kind of diffuse those sorts of things. Or if you can try to find out what's at the root of this toxic behavior, or like over testing, where that insecurity is coming from, and kind of work through that can be helpful. But again, it's sometimes this is quite complex and difficult. So I think that women who are in that in that space, it doesn't feel good. It really doesn't feel good. Like, and she probably knows that she has all these insecurities at the root of that. So yeah, how do you tell the difference? I think that's up to you to make the judgment. Like, when is this, you're like, okay, this is too much, this is beyond just a normal level of her trying to see where she, you know, where she stands in this relationship. Yeah, when it becomes really possessive and controlling, that's too far. That's way too far. Yeah.
I might just say, probably the greatest thing we do for guys, particularly guys who are somewhat successful or even good looking, is help them avoid the Amber Heards and help them avoid the family courts and 5 years of hell on earth, often with their kids or their business or whatever used against them as hostages, basically. One of the skills I've developed over the years is very quickly identifying the potentially toxic ones, and I'm nearly always right. I just had an experience recently where I called it out to a friend of mine, and I was definitely right. From the girls who are potentially worth dating. So yeah. Yeah, generally, if a girl's making you work really, really, really hard to sleep with her, when you're super confident, that I say that this is for very advanced guys, the harder to fuck, the harder to date. This is if you've got real skill, and if you're just being run through hoop after hoop after hoop, she's very insecure, or she just likes having power over men, which is even worse. So yeah, that's why you've got to get your skills to quite a high level before you can even understand whether it's a good girl or not. And the biggest thing of all to avoid toxic women is just go hunt your own meat. Go hunt your own meat. I've got to make a YouTube video on this, because if you're going out to the world and picking some girl out of a random crowd, the chance of her being a toxic Amber Heard is dramatically lower than if you're a good-looking guy or a rich guy, or you're a good-looking rich guy who's flaunting his BMW or his Ferrari or his career or something. Then you're basically you're signing up for a toxic girl in most cases. So yeah. Okay, next thing is be a cheapskate. That's a bad Glasgow accent. Sorry, Scottish accent. Yeah, just don't make it about money. If you're a guy over 50 and you got some money, so many of you, your knee-jerk reaction is to buy your way, pay for everything, take her to expensive dinners, pay for the holidays, pay for everything. And it's just so needy and unattractive unless you want to date gold diggers. Tess, I don't know, I haven't really talked to you about this before. Yeah, make dates really inexpensive. You should not be investing much more than a couple of drinks or a cup of tea. You've got to have a good date plan. You just can't flaunt your wealth. I've had numerous clients who've got like fully loaded white Range Rovers or F-type Jaguars, and the first thing I'm doing is trying to find another car they can, or use Uber to take girls on dates. Because the second you start to demonstrate wealth, you've just bought this whole heap of problems. Many of you guys will come on these, go, oh, you know, I'm not rich enough, no girl will take me seriously. When you are rich, it's just a minefield for these guys. It's one of the reasons why they pay me a lot of money to, one guy paid 100 grand in private training, simply because he's got a lot of cash and he's had a lot of really toxic women. That's why he paid that sort of money. Tess, do you want to talk about, if you go back to your main modeling days, did especially in New York, did you have the experience of guys taking you out, just throwing money at you? And can you talk a little bit about, I mean, Jackie's really good at this, an ex of mine is really good. Do you have any good stories? I'm just throwing it at the deep end.
Yeah, I think that I have had dates like that, and I think that it's never gone beyond that first date for me, because for me, yeah, that was a huge turn off for me. I think that yeah, when guys are just displaying their wealth, and that's how they expect you to value them, and that's really not how I value people at all. It just created a very superficial sort of dynamic where I'm like, well, I wasn't actually able to connect with the men, because it was all about a display of wealth, right? And it made me feel a little bit like, I don't know, I don't like, an escort or something. Yeah, it just made me feel uneasy. Some of the best dates I've been on, and again, like this is different for different women. I'm probably on more of the extreme end of the scale where, you know, my lifestyle, I'm a surfer, I love camping, I love to, I love to be spontaneous and travel, and I'm quite adventurous. I love being outdoors. But some of the best first dates I've been on were just, you know, hanging out, having a picnic with a beautiful view, eating a bit of cheese and having some tea and like chatting and talking about real stuff, really connecting around, things that are a little bit that are you know, interesting to me. And so like more of that authentic connection and less of that surface level, money, food, whatever, whining and dining. I think that, especially on first dates, or that first couple of dates, it should really be about making that connection, figuring out, do I want to date this person beyond this? And then, you know, later on, it might be fun to do something like spend a bit of money and go to a nice dinner after you've already established that, right? But to lead with that, takes away from your ability to, to strip all of that away and actually just connect with a person on a deeper level. So again, some of my most memorable dates were just, didn't cost anything. And it was more about just being in a beautiful place, connecting with the person, and stripping away all of that.
Thanks, Tess. I lived in Bondi Beach a long time, and my usual date, as long as it wasn't raining, was just to get 2 takeaway cups and just ask her what sort of tea she likes. I had a collection of organic teas I used to get hot girls. So yeah, just you can't do it. An example with one of my female coaches, there was a guy in her industry who she was crazy about. She really liked him. He was tall, handsome, brilliant. From the idea of it, made a lot of money. And she was a very smart girl. This was the guy she was thinking about for a long time. He took her out to one very expensive dinner, you know, went home from work, took off his work clothes, which I presume was a suit, put on another nice jacket, you know, the whole kit and caboodle. I don't know what he spent. I'm guessing it was like $500 or something, or a lot of money. And then she's really enjoying that. He didn't make much of a move. And he took her out to another very expensive restaurant. And, you know, she still enjoyed herself. He was great company. They had so much in common. He ticked every box you could imagine. But yeah, got to end this dinner. Then he asked her out again. She said, talked about this at one of the boot camps. She said she still really, really liked this guy more than any guy she'd met in a long time. But she didn't want to go on the third date to another stupidly fancy dinner. So I think she initially said yes, then she backed out. It's like, I can't do another 2.5 hours. The thing is, if you ask a girl to an expensive dinner, she feels an obligation to really dress up. There's so much stuff that can go wrong. So it's not just the date. You got to minimize the fact that you've got a lot of money, because that's just going to change the whole nature of dating. If a girl thinks you've got serious cash, she's going to drag sex out forever and ever and ever, because you suddenly turned into Mr. Right, or probably worse than Mr. Right is she's perceiving you're a player. Anything you want to add to Cheapskate, Tess?
Yeah. Again, guys. So if you're, if this is what you're selling yourself as, someone who's going to pay for expensive dates, blah blah blah, and that's what you're doing straight off the bat, who are you going to be attracting? You're going to be attracting the women who value that. Gold diggers, gold diggers. So if that's the kind of woman you want to attract, go for it. But if you're looking to make it a real connection with someone, and it's, and that's not what she values, then don't do that. Don't be you shouldn't be selling yourself that way. You should really be focusing on the authentic connection.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thanks, Tess. Questions or another point? What do you vote, Tess? We might get questions. We had some great ones. We'll do a few of them.
Yeah, we've got a few that have come through. Let me just have a look. Sorry.
Next up, we've got your baggage rocks while Tess is getting the questions.
Sorry, guys. We've jumped a bit all over the place, so I'm just going to see if we've missed anything. But go ahead, James. You get stuck into it.
Okay, yeah. So many guys have got kids, or they've had a divorce, or they're a lot older than her, or they've been through some dramas, or some of you with the economic state, you've had some serious financial troubles, or maybe you had a really toxic girl or something. So many guys, particularly guys with kids, they're so stressed about, will women still want me if I've got a family? And the reality, and this is something that surprised me, a lot of the best women I know in Sydney, a lot of them literally gravitated towards guys who've already got families. I'm talking about models and some of the most attractive women I know in Sydney. Certainly once they get into their late 20s, a few of my female coaches have done this. And it sounds so counterintuitive. It's like, why would any woman? Because the last thing a man ever wants as a girl is a single mum. It's just like, it's so against our evolution. We just don't want that. Because then whatever, they're not going to do as good a job with our kids if they're worried about men. The moment a woman has a child, her whatever value just plummets, even if she's still hot. I mean, a lot of guys will sort of sleep with her, but a lot of guys have this huge hesitation about dating with her. But for men, it's the opposite. A lot of guys, like for me, one of the objections I face with women is, why haven't you been married or had kids? Even though I really want to have kids. And it's just because, I got addicted to travel for nearly a decade. And then I ran a business I was incredibly passionate about in a place full of virtually no girls I was interested in. So I've got to handle this objection. So, yeah, so why are these high value women going after guys who've got kids, who are divorced, who've been through nasty divorces? It's because they're buying the relationship experience. If a guy is, late 40s, 50s, and he's done a good job of raising a family, he's 100 times better potential partner than some guy who's been single the whole time. I think Tess is nodding. Like maybe 500. If a guy's raised healthy kids, particularly healthy daughters in today's world, mentally healthy kids, he's a catch. He's like a Leonardo DiCaprio or a George Clooney or something. This guy's a winner. And women don't mind being, the second in the run or something if it's a guy who's actually got social intelligence and emotional intelligence. So yeah, if you've been married before, let alone had kids before, so many guys think, oh, no woman's ever going to want me. Bullshit. In so many cases with the best girls, it's the opposite. The kids are your asset. And yeah, I mean, one of my closest friends in the city I grew up with, he was an absurd player, like just ridiculous. I mean, I can't even talk about the stuff he did to women in the 90s. Just so many on the go. He's seeing some amazing girl and he sleeps with some trollop in a nightclub and then another one after that, and it's just really bad. But his thing was he'd get girls, he'd sit down and go, he'd say, you're beautiful, you're amazing, I really like you, best girl I met in ages. You're never going to be as important to me as my daughters. So yeah, I just want to make that very clear now. So don't even try. So what do the girls do if they're hot? They try. They try to beat his daughters, and that just gives him this he's got this fishing pole. He just tweets whenever he wants something from him. No, I've got to pick up the daughters today. I'm not seeing you. So the girls just tries harder and fucks him better and brings him girls to have threesomes with. So yeah, again, this guy is pretty skilled. But yeah, don't think of your kids as some sort of a deal breaker. It's really stupid. It's really stupid. It's really shocked me how these women, I go, oh, I mean, that's a girl I'd introduced to my friends, and this is a high quality girl. These girls can have pretty much any guy they want within reason, but so many of them are gravitating towards a guy who's got teenage kids or even early 20s kids. So yeah, hopefully if there's any fathers here, if you thought that was helpful, give us some love, rave, subscribe, like. Yeah, it's really, really important. It's really important because yeah, if you are 40s, 50s, 60s, which is our client base, the fact you've had kids could be more attractive. Again, I talk generalizations, but I think that's going to be the case with so many women, including the women who've never had kids, because you've proven you're a good father already, which is one of the biggest things women are testing for. Tess, questions?
Yeah, no, I just want to add quickly. It's really funny. I have a bunch of friends who have young kids, male friends, and then every time I go to the park, it's crazy. All the mums, you know, I get so much attention from women, and that doesn't surprise me. You know, I have always found men who are really great with kids, and also great with dogs, really, really attractive. Because I'm like, oh wow, it's just you know, he's great with kids, you know, potentially great father material. And so yeah, it really doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, I actually have a friend who's a model who, yeah, is exactly what James just described. She was, she's from South America, and she was considering moving back home towards the end of last year. And she recently has fallen in love with a guy who's in his 40s. Yeah, and he's got I think she said he has 4 kids. And she's like, I've never met anyone like this in my life before. Like, I'm so in love. And she's decided to stay in Australia to be with this guy. So yeah, it's yeah, and yeah, she basically, because he's just got all of these qualities, relationship experience, like James said. You know, yeah, he has a great relationship with his kids. Yeah, he's just ticking all these boxes. So yeah, it's like he's been pre-selected by other women. So that's hugely attractive to us.
So all you boys, with all you men in your 40s and 50s or 60s with kids, you don't need to settle for single mothers. All the hot young Brazilian models want you. You just gotta book a few dates with a TESS and get some skills. You want to get back to questions?
Yeah, we've missed a couple, so I'm just going to backtrack a little bit.
Let's go. Baggage includes grey hair, includes, you know, you might have had a business bankruptcy, includes a whole bunch of things. Includes, you might have spent, you know, 5 or 10 years of your life making a whole bunch of mistakes. You might have a toxic ex-partner. All this stuff, it gives you life experience. It gives you value, because I mean, there's exceptions, but why would any super attractive girl in her 20s or early 30s, why would she, in most cases, why would she ever want to date a guy her own age? It's like such a poor investment. Again, there's exceptions. There's some really remarkable young men, but if you're actually playing the numbers, it's such a dumb strategy for any woman. I mean, the thing is, if a girl does get a really high value younger man, he's just going to fuck around on her, because that's what we do when we're a very highly valued young man. I did. I lost all the greatest women in my life because I was too busy traveling and trying to get a girlfriend in one more country. So yeah, older, family, nasty divorce, toxic ex-partner even. If you've got a really toxic ex-partner who's still harassing you, the girl thinks, oh, well, this girl loved someone so much that he must be really good. A girl told me about my little toxic ex-partner. Yeah, a psychologist who's one of my coaches, she goes, oh my God, she must have loved you so much. I said, why? She goes, well, for her to go that toxic on anyone, it's just because she said she'd never seen anyone who hated a human being as much as me. And I heard that from several of my staff. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but she certainly did her damage. Anyway, let's get on to the questions.
Okay, so a question from Stevie. How crucial is staying fit?
I've just got to do one more thing on the baggage. I forgot. Sorry about this. Where's the baggage? This is so important because we're really targeting over 50s, over 50s now. I don't think this has caused me any hassles. I think it's made me more attractive, and there's a bit here as well. And if you think back historically, if you watch old movies, you learn so much. It's like so many women in their 20s is like, oh, they want a guy with a bit of gray on their side. Every Latina girl with an IQ greater than like 36 or 76, she wants a guy who's going gray. Why? Because Latina girls know if they get like some really hot 30-year-old guy when they're 25, he's just going to cheat on them straight away, even when he's got kids. They know it. So they want a guy who's been around the block a few times and he's got all his whatever. He's sowed his wild oats over. He's done the threesome thing and the model thing. So women want a guy who's been around the block. They want a guy with a bit of grey on the side. I mean, George Clooney was never sexier than when he was half grey. Not that I'd want to have sex with him, but that's what all the girlies say. And a lot of guys, particularly if you're not the most handsome guy in the world, a lot of you, when you do go a bit grey, you start to get this distinguished thing. You can actually become really sexy. If you look at so many actors, I'm not a fan at all, but the business coach, Grant Cardone, I mean, he was such a dork when he was young. And there's so many examples like this. So don't be, I need to see you and coach you before I can say this, but in so many cases, don't be afraid of your grey. And get healthy. That's another thing we teach. You got to fix up your liver if you want to be super healthy in your 50s. Don't just sit and do bench press and have protein shakes thinking that's going to make you young and healthy. Let's get back to questions.
Okay. So question from Stevie. How crucial is staying fit, grooming, and updating my style to keep her interested? Okay. I think that staying fit is, it's more about health. I think that health is really attractive. Staying fit, you don't have to be like an athlete, but I think that having some level of fitness is definitely attractive to women, like generally speaking. Grooming, yes, I think that is important as well. But that doesn't mean you have to be like hyper styled. It's just about being clean, basically. And I think that a lot of women really like a bit of ruggedness as well. So, you know, a bit of facial hair, not being too well kept is actually really attractive to women. You know, they like, a lot of women like, you know, some masculinity. So yeah, facial hair, not being completely too tailored, etc., is actually really attractive to women. And updating my style to keep her interested? No. You shouldn't be updating your style. No, wait, maybe you do need to update your style, but I'll let you know if you need to. But if you're in a relationship with a woman and you're like constantly changing how you look, no, that's not good. You need to be, you want to stick to, you know, the style parameters that we give you, but you know, you're just going to be well dressed. You don't, it's basically like a uniform. You don't, it's really practical. It's for casual, smart casual. And yeah, it's not about staying on top of trends. It's not about changing things at all. It's really about just what suits you, what looks good, and what's timeless. So there's no need to update once you've got the right style. And yeah, so you know, I think how crucial are these things to in the beginning? Obviously, I think women do make everyone makes judgments based on, you know, their first impression. So the way you present yourself is important, right? But how important is it if you're able to actually come across as confident, masculine, charismatic, and create attraction? Not as important. No. So if you have skill, these things aren't that important, but these are going to give you a huge advantage either way. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And yeah, no need to be. Sorry, go ahead, James.
I might jump in there. Tess has potentially got more proper relationship experience than me. But for most men, you definitely don't want to be updating style. If you come to a YouTube live with James and Tess in the year 2039, you'll probably see me in one of these babies. Now, I don't know what happened to flares or gunshot wounds in your jeans or any of that, or how many buttons you meant to have on a modern business suit. I don't have a clue about that, but I'm probably not going to change much. I was wearing these 10 years ago. I'll be wearing them a long time ago. Nothing's going to change, but it fits me. The colors are flattering. So you don't need to update your style, but nearly all of you watching need to completely transform your style, because in most cases it's terrible. How do we know this? Because guys send us photos of what they wear, and in most cases it's like, it is so bad. It is so bad. And the guys who think they've got an idea are the worst, because they're just trying so hard. It's like the white teeth and the Ferrari and the whatever. In terms of staying fit, TESS genius. You got to swap fit for healthy. There's a lot of people who are very fit who aren't that healthy. And that, yeah, a little bit of weights and push-ups and pull-ups is important. But yoga, if you haven't done some sort of detox protocol and you're over 50, you're a fool. You're a complete fool. I shouldn't say this publicly, but I could wear this. I mean, it's like whatever, 32 degrees now or something. I could wear the same T-shirt 4 or 5 days in a row because I'm super healthy, which might explain my 25-year-old still are very keen. I got someone throwing themselves at me earlier today as it happened. She asked for my number and came up to me. It's in a social situation as well. But yeah, health is everything. Health is everything. So that's one of the things we teach you social skills and style and date plans, all this. Then we really go deep in health. And a lot of guys have thanked me for that. Grooming is very important. The second you got hair coming out here or hair coming out here, you're gone. You're gone. Unless you're Leonardo DiCaprio, it's even going to sabotage him. So health is everything, but health is not going to gym and lifting weights and air conditioning and then drinking protein powders. It's what I said before. Maxing out your heart rate is not as good as yoga or eating lots of vegetables, but that's huge. Okay, next question. Tess, because of all these great clients asking, or YouTube people asking us great questions, we try to keep our answers sort of like maybe 90 seconds, 2 minutes each, so we can get through everyone's.
Okay. Let's have a look here. Okay. Steve says, I give advice and act like her mentor. Is the dad role a turnoff? I think if you're like controlling her and saying she can and can't do things, that's a turnoff. But if you're, I think women love, I love, I love when a man, betters me or like pulls me up on things and actually changes my opinion on things for the better. That's might be a personal thing that I'm always trying to improve myself, and I really enjoy that. So when there's a guy who mentors me or gives me great advice, I love that. I absolutely love that. That's not a turn off at all.
I might just interject there. I agree completely with Tess, but you want to bang them really well first. You don't want your value to a younger woman to be the fact that you give her good advice. Otherwise, you turn into a mentor, not a boyfriend. And you'll find yourself in the friend zone. And she'll go back to her. So yeah, you don't want to make that you don't want to make your money the primary value add. Like if you are rich and you get a girl you're crazy about, take her on a wonderful holiday and spend way more money than she could afford to spend on herself. That's great. But you got to bang her properly first, and she's got to like you, not the money. She's got to like you, not the advice. Because I see so many guys just get sucked into women because they're helping them. I actually had to intervene and stop a serious Harvey Weinstein incident with a young friend of mine when a girl probably led him on too much to get help with her business. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. So you can be. Dad is an issue, but you can become a mentor, not a guy who makes their toes curl and makes them scream really, really, really loud.
I completely agree with that, James. I think I was more, I think it's more of a turn off when she becomes your mentor. So I think when she feels like she's your mom, that's a turn off. That's not sexy. I
get that with every girl I've ever been with. They're always cleaning up after me and even changing tires for me. I don't recommend being a man and not being able to change tires, but I've managed to pull it off somehow. Well,
maybe you've got that, what we talked about earlier, James, the bedroom thing under wraps. It kind of balances
a large part of. I mean, look at these little pathetic girl hands. I had two models who probably grew up in the Midwest farm country. One was a German girl, one was, I don't know what she was. And they could beat me in thumb wrestles. They said, stop letting me win. I'm like, I'm not. So yeah, I'm not. I was good at sport, but in other areas, I'm not the best. Anyway, let's go on to the next question. My fault.
This one's a bit unique. Do you think women who are mildly on the spectrum would do all these shit tests, or are these social skills not strong? Wait, sorry, or are their social skills not strong enough to do so? I'm not really sure. I can't comment on that. Like, not my area of expertise. Like women on the spectrum.
I'll just answer. That's a ripper question. I've dated some girls who are really smart, who were maybe edging a tiny bit that way. Not much, tiny. I could tell you about one of my trainers who's marginally on the spectrum, but I won't. So she would test much more ferociously than the other girls because she was good at it. So I don't have any sort of sample size to give you a good answer to your question. But if it's a high IQ girl who's a tiny bit on the spectrum, I think you might find it's much more pronounced. I suspect you would, but I don't know. Everything that comes out of my mouth is based upon 20 years of experience coaching thousands of guys, getting opinions and feedback from like TESS hot girls who are models, most of whom have degrees. So when something comes out of my mouth, it's right, but I'm not telling you I don't have enough data about that. But that's an excellent question, man. Next question.
Yeah, that does make sense to me. If anything, I think that they would be a little bit more rigid with what they want because, a little bit less inflexible. A little bit less flexible, sorry, more inflexible. So yeah, maybe they would test harder. That makes sense.
I might just come back to something. I should tell my clients it's not YouTube. Once you get really confident with women, they get very insecure and they feel like they've got no value to you. So if you can turn them into a wee bit of a mum, it can actually make them feel good. So I like to flaunt my ADHD like NBA players flaunt their large what's it to help me. So yeah, a lot of women kind of like fixing up my mess for me, particularly if you do a good job in the bed. So yeah. It gives them significance in your life, particularly if they feel you're very, very confident and sure of yourself. But this is far too advanced for YouTube Live. Next question.
Okay. Nolan's asking, how did TESS's testing change from in her 20s? Okay, this is an interesting question. I don't test. No, just joking. I definitely do test. Okay, so how did it change from my 20s? I'm not the most insecure woman, so I'm not like a huge tester, but I think in my 20s, sort of, when I was modeling more, etc., I think it was more around, for me, around confidence, more around like the caliber of the man, etc. As I've gotten older, in my 30s, it has been more around loyalty, I would say. So for me, that was more around like the stage of my life. Obviously coming into 30s, more looking for, stability, etc.
I mean, it's a bit of a stretch because a lot of women do this. They don't even understand they're doing it. A lot of women do it, and when the guy passes, they forget whatever they did. Do you have any examples for your 20s? Maybe you're out with a high-status guy, and you wanted to run him through hoops. Okay. I've got dozens of them, but it would be better to hear it from you.
Yeah, let me put it this way. Like in my 20s, I was more attracted to guys who are great social networkers. A lot of, like entrepreneurs and people have a lot of stuff going on in their lives and sort of, status, etc. In my 30s, I've been more attracted to guys who show qualities, family qualities, guys who are more, show that they're maybe more interested in, great with kids, family values, etc. So those are sorts of, that's how my testing has kind of changed.
Yeah, I mean, on that point, I've dropped the line. Not that I lost millions of dollars during COVID, but I've dropped the line with some girls. Oh, just hire a nanny, and some girls sort of like might not have taken that the best, which is probably why my skills with women are from Tess's earlier days, not her later days. I haven't cracked that one yet. So I haven't tried, but yeah, I know when I'm being tested that when women get slightly older, their tests change dramatically. Like, wow. Like Jackie, just Jesus Christ, the transformation she had was, you can't even believe. She's the girl on the YouTube channel. She's a very good job of articulating the female psychology, similar to Tess. Next question. Great question, Nolan. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, just a really nice comment here. I'm going to put this up because this is a client I love working with. Went out Friday, finally, was talking to a gorgeous Brazilian woman. I wasn't the best, but infinitely better than other men. Their talking made me look so good. So thanks very much, Tess. Awesome. That's really great to hear. Again, yeah, I think with just a little bit of skill, you can really, really stand out from the crowd. So thanks for sharing that. Really appreciate that. Okay, let's have a look here. What does Ranger say? Ranger says, women generally don't make guys work for that whom they're attracted to. They make the nice/good men work for it. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Generally, I don't understand this question. James, can you explain this? Women generally
don't make guys work for cat. What's cat?
No, yeah.
For sex. If you could correct it. Yeah. So what the archetypal psychological mating strategy of women is they have their fun with the high status guys, and then they want to get a guy who's got some cash. Let's say how much high status. High status could be a personal trainer or a yoga teacher, but then they want to get the engineer or the programmer or the diligent doctor or white collar professional. They want to get him, and there's a lot of debate about the figures, but I mean, some people say up to 10% of fathers aren't who the guy thinks it is. So there's a whole huge debate amongst genetic circles about this. So the ultimate mating strategy for most women is to mate with a super high status, high value, confident, if you like, whatever, tall, handsome man, and then just get because they can't keep them. They know they can't keep them, but they can keep the accountant who's still pretty cute, who looks nice in a dinner jacket, who's a gentleman, who's going to be a much better father, who's going to be a much better provider, versus the guy who just dump him and run away. So that's the ultimate mating strategy for women, to maximize their genetic potential. And I mean, there's no doubt some women do that. There's a lot of debate about the numbers. So yeah, women, I mean, the red pill guys have a fancy way of explaining it. It's like they've got the guy they want to bang, and they've got the guy they want to bang that they can't keep hold of, or they may not want to keep hold of him because he's just a yoga teacher, and they go out and get the sort of investment banker to pay all their bills and buy their handbags and support their kids and stuff. And sometimes it's the personal trainers' kids, the poor investment bankers raising in between working 12-hour days, 6 days a week for years. Next question.
Okay. A comment here. It's quite possible to appear and sound rich/wealthy, even if you're not. Articulate yourself, expanded vocabulary, dress well, clean vehicle, friends and others speak highly of you, frame control. Great, yeah, I really like that. So it's really not about money. I think that yeah, if you can communicate really well, and yeah, you've got social proof, friends and others speak highly of you, you're a leader, you dress well, all of this stuff is super attractive to women. It's not actually about the money. It's about yeah, it's about much more about all of these other things that Rangers is describing here. So I like that comment. James, do you want to add to that?
That's a great point. I never girlfriends. I never had sex with her or even kissed her, but we're sort of friends I was hoping to. And she was thinking about dating me because I was in finance. You know, I was clearly I was about to work in finance. I was clearly a go-getter. And I don't know, whatever. She got dumped by some high-value guy. And then I dressed appallingly. So she walks up to a shop window and she goes, "Oh, why don't you buy them?" I go, "They look ridiculous. That's what my friend wears." And like, he gets laid a lot. So she didn't necessarily want me to be rich. She just wanted me to look like I was. Obviously she was this is a girl in her early 20s. So yeah, Rangers is completely spot on. The gold diggers will know. They can tell by your shoes and your watch and ask a few questions. And if you tell them any fibs, they know that, especially the good ones. Okie dokie. Next question.
Okay, so Peter says, you've said women hate men displaying wealth. Given this, what are your thoughts on the Netflix documentary, The Tinder Swindler, and the women involved? Okay, I haven't actually seen this documentary. Have you, James?
Yeah, I never said women hate men displaying wealth. I said, oh, they do. The women as attractive as TESS, or girls who are models, or girls who are whatever, 8.5 out of 10 or more, they just think it's really revolting. It's like, oh, don't you have anything else to give me?
Exactly. It's like, what are you compensating for? Yeah.
It's just like, I'm going to be careful. It's like me, if a girl's got the bits in the right places, and every time I see her, everything's tight or short, and she's always got makeup on, because one of the things I look at girls and I can tell whether they've got makeup and that sort of thing. So if I see a girl who's always putting her bits out, doesn't mean I won't bang her, but at the age I'm at now, I'm much less likely to. So it's nice to see a girl put her stuff out. I pick on the first date because I want to see what I'm buying. But if every time I interact with her, she's doing that, I don't really want her. It's the same with, I think it's a good metaphor for women. If a woman has a lot of choice and the guy's just constantly putting forward money more than other stuff, I think it really turns them off. So I wouldn't say they hate displaying wealth. They just find it very, very insecure. And if they want like a partner they can control and bully and eventually divorce, great, sign me up for this guy. There'll be a lot of women who will be turned on by a display of wealth, but if there's nothing else with it, it could potentially get them in bed, but it'll almost certainly get you a gold digger. And a lot of women like Tess or my female coach Val, or certainly Jackie, whenever I mention girls' names, I try not to mention the names of my ex-girlfriends. It's usually one of my female coaches. You can see on the YouTube channel if you just go from live to whatever they're called, videos. I don't even know how to do it. I do if it's in front of me. I don't know how to describe it. So yeah, most of the time you hear me mentioning Monique or Nevena or Jackie or Val or Natalia, it's women who you can see on my YouTube channel who've been, in some cases, helping me transform guys' lives for like 15 or 16 years. So yeah, most of them hate it. I mean, one of them is undoubtedly a woman who goes after guys with a lot of money. But yeah, she's kind of turned off where it's like a really overt display as well. And she, on my YouTube channel, she said she went out with a guy who she really liked. It turned out he was a billionaire. And the first day, I can't remember where she flew from, but she flew from wherever she was to Venice for a weekend in Venice. She did not sleep with him that weekend. She didn't sleep with the poor guy for 3 months because it's like, oh, he's got a private jet. He must have had so many women on this jet who just blow him on the jet and he takes him backwards, doggy style or something. She didn't want to be one of those girls because she really liked him. So she made him wait 3 months. Can you imagine dating a girl for 3 months not getting any sex? That happened to a friend of mine and he got the worst gold digger in history. Wasn't even gold digger, she just destroyed him. So yeah, the Tinder swindler. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be rude. The women in the Tinder swindler weren't exactly girls I'd be particularly interested in. So, I mean, they weren't like models, those girls. So yeah, women are turned on by men displaying wealth. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword with the most attractive women who I certainly want. And you're attracting gold diggers anyway. Next question, please.
Hey, a comment from Rangers. I like this one. If a woman's into you, you don't need a 3-hour fancy dinner. She'll crave a 5-minute stimulating conversation. I really like that. That's, yeah, exactly.
That's very true. I just swapped 5 minutes to 20 minutes if you want to actually get enough attraction to land a date. If I talk to a girl like Tess for 5 minutes and she turns up on a date, you might have a bunny boiler. That's not a good sign because she's not waxing this and shaving that and doing all the ouch bits and doing makeup and changing her outfit 5 times and trying 4 bras to show the exact right amount of cleavage to not be an S word but still get the guy's attention. She's not doing all that for a 5-minute conversation unless you are Leonardo DiCaprio or she's nuts. Having said that, I coached one of the world's top male models. It worked for him, but this was mainly with 7s and 8s. Didn't work for him with 10s because the world's top male model was too scaredy pants to ever go near a 9.5. How's that for a joke? And yet you guys all want to be like hot and really beautiful. But yeah, you just scare the shit out of women. I don't want to be any more physically attractive than I am now. The only reason I want a smaller nose is so that I don't need to find caps with really long peaks so I don't get sunburnt. I'm considering getting a nose job so I can run along the beach in the sun without having to put sun cream on my nose because I hate it. But I'm scared of needles and let alone scalpels. But yeah, that would be the only use case for a nose job for me at this stage in life.
I've got a good.
Sorry?
Sorry to interrupt, James. That just reminded me. I've got a good gift I can give you to help with that.
Is it caps for people with big noses?
It's actually a thing that paragliders use that you attach to your sunglasses. It's like a nose cover that like folds over the top and it just covers your nose.
I got to get one. I've been searching YouTube. I've been searching the internet for one of these things.
I'll get you one. I'll get you one.
Sometimes I get a place that's, whatever, near water, and you can't sit near water because you just get burnt. So I've been looking. I tried with paper and like tear a sock up in a t-shirt and put it under, but the glasses would hold it. They make them for paragliders. So now I can run on the beach with my nose cover thing on, and this big schnoz won't get burnt. So the things you learn. Thank you, Tess. That would be the best birthday gift you can give a big nose old fuck like me. Thank you.
No worries. You're welcome.
You send me a link, I'll order it straight after this live. Anyway, I'll wait for the gift. But anyway, again, if you're bottom quintile of ugly, yeah, it's not great, but you can make up so much of that with style. Men should stop complaining. There's certain things that can really cause you problem, like being really short or just being really ugly. But in most cases, men just need to dress better and learn some skills. It really doesn't matter that much. Top, bottom quintile, exceptions made. Anyway, let's go.
Okay. This is an interesting one. Insecure about keeping up in the bedroom. Common issues. James, I think this is one for you.
Yes, I teach that on my courses. It's a very important thing. The first thing is if you're really healthy and your what's it usually works. I'll just tell you a story. I can tell you so many stories. I was having my first threesome with a girl I was having threesomes with for 4.5 years. And she was smoking. And she was 22 and she had some of the biggest boobies I've seen in Australia and a very thin waist and athletic body and beautiful big lips, thick hair, you name it, she had it. I couldn't get it up. So there's 2 girls going for it in my bedroom and I'm hiding behind the girl I'd already been with like 100 times, just flapping the thing on my leg and, jerking off and trying to get some wood in there and thinking of the most erotic thing that could come to my mind at that point. And it wasn't working. Me old fella wasn't playing ball. I don't know whether it was the night before or 2 nights ago. I was banging for 4 hours, no blue pills, not a problem. Can anyone diagnose the problem there? Tess, can you diagnose the problem there?
I don't know. Just, I guess, feeling the pressure like in your head. I don't know. I can't relate to these issues. So
Honey, I was living in Bondi Beach, running through backpackers at quite a rate. I had no insecurities whatsoever at that point about anything to do with women. But why wouldn't my dick work? Someone put an answer in that's right. I bet none of you know.
People just say anxiety, anxiety.
Who had the anxiety?
I've got Peter and Aquabreeze both saying anxiety.
I had zero anxiety. I fasted for hours before, so there was very little blood in my stomach. It was all available to give that girl a big, not that I'm that big, but the best hard on I could give her for like 3 or 4 hours, which she got eventually. No, I had no insecurity about all that. I mean, even in my early 50s, I could go 5 hours, at least 4 hours if I wanted to. Probably still could. Just yoga poses, you do my courses, you'll find out how to go for 5 hours without blue pills, even in your 50s. No, it's because the girl was shitting herself. She was absolutely shitting herself. So if any of you have meditated, the girl who I was with for 4.5 years, she was so scared the first time she was with me because I was really confident. And I met her with the girl I was seeing. I just swept her off her feet, basically. And then I was too busy to see her for a while because I really was busy with boot camp. So I saw her, it was 10 days later or something. She was just shitting herself because she hadn't been with a guy as whatever confident as me. Sounds conceited, but it's probably true. But anyway, this is sort of advanced tips. So I just said, the first time I'm with a girl new, if I like her, I sometimes struggle a bit. But don't worry, I'll be going 5 hours the second time. I just said that as a joke, and immediately, can you guess what happened between my legs? And that girl screamed pretty loud that night, and probably the night after. But yeah, until she relaxed a bit, you can give them a massage or something. It wasn't happening. See how good your questions are? Guys have to pay a lot of money to learn this normally. And it's happened with a bunch of my clients too, including a guy who was a national kung fu champion. He had it in his mid-30s with a young girl. The girl was a virgin, so she was shitting herself. I don't think he's plumbing out any problems. Okay, next question.
Okay.
If you are insecure, I don't know what to do. Just sleep with more girls. Get healthy. Get healthier. Detox, vegetables, yoga, a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to go into now because it's not a subject of tonight. But yeah, if any of you guys are over 50 and you want your What's-It to work much better without all those dangerous pills that can cause trouble to your heart, book a date with TESS. We can give you that as well. Go for it.
Okay. Rangers is asking, TESS single?
The women don't comment on those issues because they can get in some very awkward situations. And as I think I've probably said many times, I have much more problems with my coaches hitting on my clients than I ever have of my clients hitting on my coaches, because I expose men to some very attractive women, and I expose women to some very desirable men, some of whom have just been through 7 years in the family courts, and I don't want to downplay concentration camps or anything, but yeah, it was like these guys went through hell on earth, like literally hell on earth. Some of them admitted they were suicidal, and then I'm exposing them to really attractive girls who might want a man with a bit of cash. So yeah, we don't disclose the relationship status of the women unless they choose to for some reason, which might have happened once or twice. And if you ask them out, they'll probably all go, I've got a boyfriend. It could be some fictional boyfriend. So anyway, you're welcome to ask, but the girls generally don't give it away because it puts them in awkward situations. Next question.
Okay.
I should say a surprising number of my model female coaches are single. It's really quite shocking how many of them are. So that's not commenting as to who is or who isn't, but I'm surprised. You think someone would have hooked them up by now, but yeah, they're not.
Okay. If you guys...
This is also with me. I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay. So if guys help women by giving them advice too much and find themselves in the friend zone, don't be surprised if they ask advice about other guys they actually like. Oh yeah, so yeah, that's a big tell as well. If you're being friend zoned and she's asking for you advice, she's asking you for advice on other guys, that's a huge sign that you've been friend zoned. So again, we talked about this earlier tonight, but you definitely don't want to get to the point where you're just her mentor or her therapist or her girlfriend. It's important that you actually lay the foundation for a non-platonic relationship before you become the mentor and the friend, etc.
I might just comment on that. A very famous dating coach, he taught a strategy, which I teach too, called pinging, whereby you meet these hot girls who nearly always have boyfriends, or at least say they do, and then you just keep pinging them every month, hoping they get dumped. Or maybe they get so lonely that their fictional boyfriend, understand how I said fictional boyfriend, goes away. So this guy followed that strategy. He taught it and he did it. This guy was heartbroken like you can't believe. He was humiliated essentially in public by a girl he was courting on the internet, like humiliated in a scale I can't even fathom. Yeah, so if that's your strategy of sort of, oh yeah, I'll handhold you through your relationship breakup and give you advice about men, you're just her girlfriend. And even if she does have sex with you, it's not going to be for very long. You've got to go in as the alpha male. You can't sort of cheat and do something else. Now, some of you will say, well, Russell Brand's not exactly a cage fighter. But yeah, to women, this guy is a cage fighter. He is an alpha freaking male. This guy goes after what he wants with some purpose and dedication and extreme skill. So yeah, you got to go in as the alpha male. That's it. And it's not muscles or choke holds or fancy punches or kicks. It's about being confident socially and being confident with women. Next question. We might get back to the last few things.
How important, from James, how important is staying fit and healthy, grooming and updating?
I think it might be.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Younger women ghost after a couple of dates. What texting mistakes am I making? Okay.
It's like you didn't build enough attraction. You could be screwing up text. That's possible. You just didn't build enough attraction to begin with. Anyone who sells you a course on mad text game, you might be to round up some S words or some ugly girls. It's not about text game. It's about when you're in front of her, do you make a good enough impression such that she wants to go out with you? She's dying to go out with you. She can't wait for you to ask her out. Now, having said that, it's not texting mistake. If you've been on a couple of dates, you're just not very good on the date. So that's simple. Forget this mad text game. Just forget it. Put it out of your mind. Don't make mistakes on text. Don't do anything stupid, which I've been capable of doing myself. I've had my girlfriends doing my texts for me for many years. I never learnt the skill properly myself. And I've got ways of getting around sending text messages. If anyone remembers Voxer, it was the first messaging app. I got girls I dated to download them because I said, I'm too busy and absent-minded to text you, and I don't know how to text, and I'm too bored to learn. I don't want to learn how to text women like a cool guy. So I just said, I'm going to send you voice messages because I couldn't screw that up very much. So yeah, if young women are ghosting you after a couple of dates, you just got to get more confident and more sexy. So book a date with Tess and she'll sort you out in 2 or 3 Zoom calls. You'll be getting blowjobs from girls you can't even dream would be sucking on your knob. What was I going to say? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're not really making any. You just got to be more confident up front. Tess, you're welcome to add to that if you want.
Yeah, I think, so yeah, I completely agree with James. Like, she's going to want to see you if you've been on a couple of dates and you still haven't like set the hook and made her want more, then that's the issue. But there are definitely mistakes you can make in texting. Like, for example, if you're always instigating, or if you're always if you're not asking open-ended questions, or if you're if you're always replying really, really quickly and she's not, like, you've just got to balance things there. You can't always be the instigator. You can't always be like way too keen, because that just pushes women away generally it devalues you. So in early dating, those sorts of mistakes can work against you. But yeah, the in-person interaction is really where your strength is going to be, and that's what's really, really important. Like if you're able to create the attraction there, then texting is really pretty meaningless. Yeah. Okay, so
this has bailed me out for saying something partially stupid. Everything I said was correct, but you still got to avoid very simple mistakes. If a woman's ghosting you after a couple of dates, you're probably not going to pull that in with texting. But you could have a girl who likes you on the date, she likes you in real life, but then you screw up virtually. There's sort of two questions there. Can you pull back a girl who's not interested in you by texting? Maybe, but they're the wrong girl, and it's probably not going to go anywhere anyway. Certainly an equality woman. Can you have a girl who likes you in real life who doesn't want to see you again because you said something dumb on text? Yes, I'm an expert at that. I've done it many times, so I just can't be bothered texting people. But I don't do it with a girl I really, really like, or at least very rarely. I'll put more time into it. I'll send a girlfriend. I'll send a female friend a text and go, what should I do here? I mean, AI is probably not that bad these days, but I wouldn't rely on it with someone you're crazy about. Just ask Tess if you're working with her. Next question. We might go back to what we promised. So your baggage rocks. If you're over 40, if you're over 50, if you've done quite a bit with your life, which many of my clients have, do not make her feel insecure. I am very good at this. Women think, okay, the less promiscuous I am, the more I feel the need to talk about myself, and the more I say things like 103 countries or I just say dumb, stupid shit that I shouldn't say. So again, every hot young girl, one of her biggest fears with older guys is I'm just this walking vagina. It's a huge, monumental fear. So if I start talking about my CV, how whatever I did in finance, and I traveled, and I was pretty good at sport when I was young, and I did acting here, I did meditation courses there, I nearly died in 3 countries, and I was in countries when there were wars on, and, you know, I don't say any of this, well, at least I try not to, or guys fly across the world and pay me $100,000 and say it's the best thing I've ever done. I never talk about being a dating coach. I try to avoid it as much as I can. But if I start getting wee bit insecure in myself, maybe if I'm exposed to a girl who's like hotter than you can sort of meet in Bondi Beach, or if she is really beautiful and she ticks a bunch of my boxes, I can fall back into that demonstrating value trap. So you just don't want to do it. Okay, again, I'm talking to my clients here. I'm going to be very, very careful with the YouTube audience. If you've done a bunch of impressive stuff in your life, let it out slowly. Not because you don't feel like an egomaniac. When I talk about my life, particularly in my late 30s, early 40s, a lot of women probably thought I was lying. Some of them did. It's like, you can't have done all this stuff. But I wasn't lying. So yeah, you let it, and it's also much more attractive as you just discovers this thing about you, that thing about you, that thing about you. I love talking about travel more than anything. My number one passion in life is just long-term, independent, third world travel. Nothing's even close. After that is helping people. But yeah, even helping people is not close. And literature and classical music and nature and meditation, they're all a long way behind those two. But yeah, when I do get passionate about travel, I just talk too much. He's been there, he nearly died there, he did this, he did that, he had a girlfriend there. I don't try not to say that. So be very careful. So for any of you who are quite accomplished watching this, just let it out very slowly. Let her discover it. She'll be much, much more attracted to you. Even if you, anyway, I won't say this is too advanced for YouTube. Intelligent and cultured guys screw up the whole time. I had the hottest yoga teacher who'd been very, very keen on me for a long, long time. This is when I had two by girlfriends. I was a lot more attractive than I am now. Not that I was that attractive. I was still skinny as anything. And I was even worse posture. I had the hottest yoga teacher who was crazy about me. I met her at a cafe bookstore and I was reading like an 800-page book. I think that cost me some of the easiest sex of my life, because she was about to go back to her home country then. And I didn't have sex with her when I was at a yoga studio, because I was basically getting private lessons. Every time I went to studio, she did so much of my yoga, it wasn't funny. But as soon as I knew she was leaving, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to bang the crap out of this woman. I've been thinking about it for quite a while. Because I had like a 700 or 800-page book, she checked out, because she was a camping, sport, volleyball, basketball, yoga girl. She wasn't as let's sit and read Leo Tolstoy girl. It's just so many of you guys, you get flaked on. She won't show up for another date. With some of you accomplished older guys, it's because he only wants me for my vagina. And rich guys screw this up so badly. They don't ask anything about her. She's really attracted because they're confident, or they've got this big house, or these impressive friends. And then, yeah, it's just, no, he just wants to ride me for a few nights and then dispose of me. I'm not into this. Even though she might be really into you and you might be into her because you've crapped on too much about how incredible you are. Yeah, I'll sign this off. The less promiscuous I am, the longer it's been since I slept with like a really hot girl, the more this shit comes up, if that makes sense. When I was like uber promiscuous with two by girlfriends, I barely said a word. I just listened to the girl talk. I worried much more about how I was going to touch her next to how I was going to get her home really quickly than I did about telling her anything impressive about me. Tess, have you ever been on a date with a guy you really liked him, but you're just like, wow, this guy's done so much, I'm just 22 or something?
Yeah, I have. I was, really intelligent guy. He was about 7 years, no, I was like 19 and he was 27. So what's that? 8 years. Yeah, 8 years older than me. But yeah, established career. I was 19. I was really young. I was just traveling, and he was really intelligent, established career. Had a lot going for him. And that did make me feel really insecure. I was really young. I didn't have a lot going on in my life. I was just kind of finding my feet, traveling, figuring out who I was. I did find that really intimidating. I think I don't know, maybe he found that attractive, but I didn't feel that comfortable in the beginning. That was like I didn't feel worthy in a way, and I didn't feel in that early dating period, I didn't feel like I had a lot of value to add to the relationship. So I was a little bit withdrawn, and I wasn't, my best version of myself, I think. Yeah.
Did you make him work harder for sex as well?
I didn't. I was really attracted to this guy, and I think I was really young and naive at that stage. I definitely wasn't a skilled tester. That's definitely hasn't been my forte in life. But I can see how at a different stage, maybe if I was a little bit older, again, this is when I was 19, I was really young. If I was a bit older, I had a little bit more dating experience, etc., I probably would have tested him a little bit more. Yeah.
24, you would have made him work much harder then? I suspect you would have.
Probably around like 20, 26, 27, I would say, is when I became a lot more sophisticated with that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I like to get in before that happens. It makes things so much better. Then you just stay with the good ones. So, Anyway, so hopefully, again, this is more my clients, but for any of you accomplished guys watching, once we make you confident, this is so important. And I've screwed this one up too many times. And I mean, sometimes I get away with it and they still sleep with me, but they make me work really hard for sex. There's just all these games and tests I wouldn't normally need to deal with. Must be a man, must be a man, must be a man. We might run through this quickly. You just have to be really confident. If you're 50s and you want to date younger women, even 10 years, let alone 15, you've got 15 years on them. Something positive must have happened in this 15 years. If she's more confident than you, if you're insecure, I mean, it's just not going to last long. And if you've got money and you're insecure, you are really screwed. You are completely screwed, man. I've had friends who are rich, particularly some finance guys, some guys from private school backgrounds who had really horrible childhoods and horrible parents, who were rich and insecure. And oh my God, one guy I know, he aged 10 or 12 years in maybe 9 months with one girl. He took her on holidays to Africa and holidays to Europe for like 3 or 4 months at a time. She never slept with him. Said, do my course, you silly twat. Do my course, you silly twat. But he wouldn't listen to me. He lived in the most expensive street in Australia. He eventually did do my course. Okay, so yeah, you just got to drop your neediness insecurity. I probably won't go into this too much because guys don't like hearing it. But yeah, when particularly Jackie, if she gets a guy she could be sexually attracted to who's insecure, oh my God, does she tear him a new asshole? She hates them. It's like a Russian girl. She hates them with a passion you can't even fathom. It's like so repulsive to her. The guy's tall, handsome, masculine, rich, intelligent, articulate, but he's insecure. It's like, again, whatever success I've had, that's one of my huge things because my childhood was just so freaking awful. And I somehow made it through. I'm just not really insecure about anything. I've made so many mistakes and I've fucked so much stuff up, but I'm not really insecure about anything I can think of. Tess, am I insecure about anything?
No. No, I'm not.
There must be something.
No,
I'll come up with something.
I'll tell you if I can think of anything.
Yeah, I've tried this with other girls. I can't. I think that's a fair chunk of why. Yeah, anyway, is this story worth it? There's a girl who probably thought she was definitely in with a chance with me, but I know her type. I can tell him in the first 10 seconds, and I just wasn't. But it turned out she had potentially had commercial value to me. So after sort of not paying much attention to her, I went, oh, okay, you do that for a living. I need one of them. I started paying attention to her. Oh my God. I mean, I got 2 rejections. You can't even imagine how nasty they were. Just like complete social autistic rejections in front of other people. Because she liked me. I had no interest. I realized she had an interest other than sex or girlfriend. And she just went, people were just like going, what the hell happened there? But yeah, the fact that I got this harsh rejection from other people, and okay, I just moved over and sat somewhere else and kept sitting there. I mean, yeah, it really fucked with her head. So yeah, I shouldn't say it's on YouTube because this is, we can't just send you on one date with Tess and get rid of your insecurities. Having said that, the dates with Tess and the boot camp will eliminate many of them, but there's a bit more to it than that. Okay, so yeah, you got to be a man, and so much of this is about social confidence. I should say we can do. If we give you insane levels of social confidence, which isn't hard relative to Americans and Australians and Germans and Dutch and English and Canadians, it's a piece of cake in today's world, particularly with everyone online. And you know, the average level of social skills of the average man and woman is, I don't know, half, a third of what it was even just 2018, thanks to COVID and Netflix and the way we live now. You've got to be confident if you want to date younger women and not have it go pear-shaped. Where's my notes for this? I don't want to miss anything. I've put it at the end because it's so important. Don't tell me I've cut and pasted it. Tess, did you want to talk more about being a man?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
huge you before we get into this.
Okay. So it doesn't really matter what age you are. If you're coming across as insecure, you're jealous, you're timid, you're insecure about things about yourself or whatever, that is the biggest turn off to women. Again, it's like the opposite of what I said earlier. When you have a weakness that you don't give a shit about and you just own it and you don't care and you roll with it, women, they won't judge you for it. They'll just be like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. It's not they don't. She won't see it as a weakness either. So same thing with insecurities. Just so repulsive. I mean, one of the first relationships, like my first long-term relationship I was was with a really possessive, it was quite toxic, very jealous guy, and that really set me up to I just have no tolerance for it whatsoever. It's repulsive to me. Even just like little things. I was dating a guy for a while who I came, I'd spent a weekend away or something. I'd come back and he'd be like sulking and be like, oh, did you get a lot of attention from other guys and stuff? I'm like,
Jesus
I
Christ.
just got back from being away. Like, we should be excited about seeing each other, potentially be having passionate sex or something, not like you sulking about my weekend away. Really, really pathetic and not good. So guys, remember, your strength in being an older guy is your life experience. It's your relationship experience. It's your knowing who you are. It's about not having insecurities. So this is what women will expect of you. So just own it.
It's easy for us to say, particularly an attractive woman who's 35, to say, but that's what the training with TESS and the boot camp gives you. It gives you this extreme social confidence, like top 0.1 or 2% of the whole population, even if you're a dorky, slightly autistic programmer, we will give you that. We've done it hundreds of times before. Girls make me jealous at the start, like even before I sleep with them sometimes, but they never make me jealous. No girls ever pulled that card on me. Can anyone guess why? Tess, can you guess why?
I think because you know that you can do better than most other guys in bed.
That's a huge part of it, but not even that. It's just like, okay, you're fucking me around. You're trying to make me jealous. I'll play that game with you, honey. Let's see who wins. I'll fucking destroy her. I mean, it'd be brutal how badly I'll do that. I do that on boot camps all the time. I do get rejected sometimes. I'm copying my little short mentor. I'm like, okay, she's rejected me. I don't take it bad. I'm like, oh, there's a challenge. I'm going to get someone way better than you interested in me. Maybe I'll take him home. And then a couple of times I've copied one of my mentors. So I'm talking to a new girl. I'll give it the that's probably not a good Me Too move. She might find some excuse to cause me trouble. So I probably shouldn't have gone so much into the don't be insecure thing. But if you get the social skills, so many of your insecurities just vanish. I mean, so many guys have done our coaching and they fired their 3 therapists. They got off their SSRIs and anxiety medication and all this stuff. We're not doctors. We're not therapists. We're not psychiatrists. But just being able to be a man and make the world the way you want it, or at least move towards that, is like the ultimate power. Okie dokie. I really got to wrap up because we don't do any 3-hour things. Tess, can you get back to the questions while I quickly do the questions? Where have I put it?
No worries. Okay, so let's go back to this question from Peter. After you've engaged a woman in conversation, how long do you recommend talking to them before asking for their phone number or contact details? Okay, this is interesting.
Tess, I might just run through them really quickly, just out of respect, then you can add anything you want. Tess is amazing, but I've sort of got the consensus of 55 TESSs. Unless you're like a model or Leonardo DiCaprio, it's probably gonna have to be 10 or 15 minutes. As soon as you ask for a girl's phone number, you've given away all your hand. You like her, so you've lost completely. So I'm delaying that as long as humanly possible, but it's like it's a game of chicken. Sometimes I've delayed it so long I don't get to ask for the number, but it gives me dramatically more attraction. See your questions, you're getting stuff I don't usually teach except my advanced students. So when you ask for her number, that's like an important strategic thing the girl's assessing. So I want to leave it as long as humanly possible. Yeah, I can think of an example that I screwed that up. But anyway, we won't get onto that. I expected I had to go speak at a conference, and there was a stupendously hot girl who was very, very young and very incredible. And I wasn't able to see her for 3 weeks. So she told me where she worked. So I think I'll just go see. She worked at an organic cafe. I think I'll just drop into that organic cafe and she'll be there. She wasn't. I was a bit pissed. Maybe I should have got a number, but I played the odds correctly. But that was one of the ones I missed. Tess, did you have anything to add to that? My answer was pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, I think that was a great answer, James. Obviously, sometimes there is, yeah. If you don't take the opportunity, you lose it. So sometimes there might be a time constraint, in which case you have to ask for the number, when you just have the time to do that. If someone has to rush off, or if there's a constraint there. But then in saying that, I think, if you just delay it till the end, and she knows, well, it's now or never, she's less likely to judge you poorly for that. As in, if the first thing you ask is for the number, it's the same thing as just showing that you've decided that you want to be in contact with her or sleep with her based on something very superficial like her appearance alone. It is. I think the most important thing is that you build some sort of connection and sexual attraction before you ask for the number. If you've got a time constraint, then pressure's on.
Okay, Shimmy, I'll just read it through quickly. I used one of your tips from previous episodes about social proofing. I'm a regular at the ice cream bar, and all the staff greeted me like I'm a celebrity in a few minutes through and began chatting to me. Good stuff. Thanks for the feedback. Can you save that one, Tess? Yeah, it's hard to overstate the value that we're giving here, especially for the guys who don't have a hell of a lot of money or live a long way away. Having said that, we're helping a bunch of guys on Zoom without having to fly over for the boot camp. I screwed up the next question. Can you see the next one? Here we go.
Yeah.
I got it. We chatted for 30 minutes and then invited me to another place. How good is that? You legend, Shimmy. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. Yeah, it's hard to overstate how much we're giving away for free here. Anxiety, what's this?
That was people guessing the issue with the
my anxiety. Yes. Too much coming, not enough sploos left. No, not in that case. When I had 2 by girlfriends, I'd sometimes have 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 hours of sex a day, but only come twice a week because I was late 30s or early 40s at this time. What's this? Is this apparently, I don't know.
That was in relation to your story as well with the erectile issues. Sorry.
Oh, potentially. I'm not an expert at that because I do yoga and have sex with young people. Thank you so much, Steve. Appreciate that. 0 matches from younger women on apps. Biggest profile errors. Don't use apps. They're gone. They're absolutely gone. They're dead. They died in 2018 or something. The share price peaked in 2016. If you're traveling in the third world country, they may still have some value there. You've got to meet women in real life. If you look at the updates to AI, every girl's a Photoshop expert. I'm a Photoshop expert. I just closed down the whole bloody stream and had to start again. It's lucky I didn't get rid of you. Tess was simply asking if she's single. Love these, says Steve. Thank you very much for that. Thanks, guys. Good to drop off. Such good contents and insights. Thank you, Magnus, ex-client of mine from a long time ago. Haha, best not to tell the boss live what he sucks at. I think Tess would. She's done it before, I think.
No. This was in regard to you having any insecurities. I just literally can't think of any. I'd gladly point them out, but you're just not an insecure guy.
Gets me a lot of sex, and that's social skills, basically. Horrible childhood, sales career, public speaking career, lots of travel, and it's now boiled down to a formula. Jackie used to tell me all these mistakes about me, and that got her a lot more success in the business than she deserved, because she was a wee bit difficult on a massive scale, but very good at articulating my point of view. I think we've gone through it. No, that's a fair call, but hopefully Tess knows that probably wouldn't hurt her, unless she possibly did it to humiliate me or something. I don't know. But I don't know. If I am insecure about something, I'd like to know so I can try to fix it. What's this? Live dating events at Ben. What's Benevev? Is this some new internet word I don't understand?
I'm not sure what that is either. At a venue, I think it's.
Oh, maybe.
Live dating events at a venue is the way to go these days. Yeah, he says venue.
Oh, I like a singles thing.
Yeah, is the way to go these days. I agree. Apps are no longer the way. Yeah, exactly. So, in-person skills will, you're gonna shine above everyone else. So much further. It's so difficult with apps. There's no way to gauge if you actually have any chemistry through an app. I mean, you might be able to get some attention if you've optimized your profile and you potentially have some similar interests to the woman, but I think that in-person attraction, charisma, there's nothing that beats that.
The other thing, I mean, there's probably a fair few men who are attractive in their 30s, in their 20s. There's probably a fair few men who are attractive in their 30s. It's getting much, much slimmer in your 40s, and it's getting infinitesimal in your 50s, let alone 60s. You're not a hot guy anymore, even if you were a few years ago. So you're not going to get far on your looks. You're just not going to get far on your looks, especially if greys come in. So you've got to bring that life experience. You've got to bring that confidence. You've got to bring that social skills into real life. I'm not going to do it now. I can give you a whole rant about how the younger generation of men is gone. They're fucked. They're over. They've got no testosterone. They eat crappy food. They're brought up on Instagram and TikTok, not out playing sport or climbing trees or shit. There is no competition, zero competition. There's a very small number of decent young men, but it's very small. We grew up when humanity had some sort of sense. Many of us played sport. Many of my clients are quite masculine. Just dress, social skills, female psychology, style. You'll destroy most of the young guys, even if you're all grey. We've done this so many times. It's not funny. Okay, I'm signing off with one of my favorite human beings of all time, Charles Darwin, for the 100th time. Men want youth, beauty, fertility, all the things you guys jerk off to. Women want older, high-status men who they can see have the ability to climb social hierarchies. That's all they care about. That's all they care about. One of the reasons behind my success is women are hypersensitive to where energy goes in a room. They know the guys who are at the center of attention from men, from anyone. So men and women, what they want is completely different. So most beautiful women around the world who have half a brain, who are in any way enlightened, who've been burnt by some 32-year-old player 5 times, and some of them have figured out this isn't a good way to find happiness. They realize they've got to get an older, more mature guy. All Latina girls know this. No 22-year-old Latina girl with an IQ over 95 wants to date a guy who's 28, because he knows if she gets a high-status guy, he's just going to cheat on her like a motherfucker. So yeah, it's just the way society's done it for so long. Younger, high-value men with older younger, high-value women with older, confident men. So yeah, the love of my life. She's looking at my hair. I tell her I was in finance and I was starting to go grey because there was so much stress. She goes, "Oh, I can't wait to go grey, baby." And she looks at me with those eyes I've never seen the like of ever since. A lot of girls since. So yeah, I'll sign you off with that. Women want you to go grey. They want a bit of maturity. They don't mind kids. They don't mind baggage. You just got to be confident. And we are the best people on the planet to make you confident. I think Steve just said that. Best coaches on YouTube. So yeah, book a date with Tess. Should be a link in the replay. We're going too long. No more Martin Scorsese and Tarantino movies where I have to swap my girlfriend at the end of it because it goes on too long. That's a joke I plagiarized from someone else. Anyway, keep smiling. Bye for now. Thank you for the wonderful, 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 wonderful Tess. We've got a whole bunch of events come up, so hopefully we'll be doing them next week and the week after, but we'll have to figure that out. We may move one to a different night. If any of you guys want to vote on the best night other than Sunday, put it in the chat. If any of you would like these earlier or later, put it in the chat, preferably on the live video, and we will take it into serious consideration. Thanks for your support. Thanks for all the questions, and keep smiling, and bye for now. And this skinny little big nose prick needs to eat before he wastes away to nothing. See, someone said, Tess and James are legends. Tess is a legend. What's this? Always wanted to get head from a white girl. Then I got it all the same. I don't get that.
Okay, well, yeah. It's all the same. Cool, that's good for you.
Just quietly, the ones with a bit more of a suntan, they can move on top. It can take you years and years of training to get a white girl to move that way. And they tend to be a bit more talented at the other thing as well. They've got much bigger lips. So anyway, let's keep this M-rated. But yeah, you'll remember your first French Caribbean girl dancing on top of you for a long, 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 long time. And you probably won't replicate that with a girl without the suntan. Let's move on. And anyway, keep smiling. Bye for now, guys.
See you guys. Good night.
Cheers. See you guys. Bye-bye. Sorry if I missed any questions.